to the Hard Rocket Sports Studios and another edition of the weekly video recap. The March 31st show kicked off with another unusual topic, golf. And that's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another edition of the Hard Rocket Sports Show, live from high atop of Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 2-hour weekly get-together. We bring you all the biggest news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, across the wide world of sports. And guys and gals, welcome to Thursday, November the 21st in the year of our good Lord, 2024. And welcome back. It's been a while since we've done a full show. I would say it's at least 3 weeks, maybe more. Since we've done a full 2-hour show. We will be doing that tonight. We were off last week, an hour show the week before, and an hour and change show the week before that. So we are 4 shows before since the last one, probably October since we did it. And we are in the holiday season. If you haven't noticed, the weather's getting a little crisper. It's a little grayer out there every day. And there's Christmas music abounding. So I hope you guys are enjoying the Christmas spirit, the holiday spirit, so to speak. But we like to say the Christmas spirit. We are exactly 1 week, 7 days from Thanksgiving. That is the official kickoff to the holiday season. But in my world, November 1st, it's holiday time. That's right. I'm already listening to Christmas music for weeks. Hold on. My phone is going off. Let's see. Maybe Jeff's got a problem getting on. Let's. Running. Okay, no problem, Jeff. No problem. Just letting Jeff know. Anyway, yeah. So, but no doubt in my mind. Hey, Will Cloak, what's up, my brother? How are you doing, Will? You home? You still out? You still out to sea? What are you doing, Will? You enjoying you home for the holidays? What's up there, Gumati Lou? Big Lou. I don't know if I did it at the time. But I wish you a happy birthday on the air here. Also, congratulations to our boy Big Don Trump, number 45 and now 47. I must have made for a nice birthday. I didn't really get much into the election on the last show. I'll do a little bit now. Listen, tremendous win by Trump. It was a mandate. It was to use the phrase "too big to rig" is an understatement. That election needed to be that. So good for the country. Hopefully we'll have 4 successful years, which will lead us into 8 with a new president. Will, good luck to you, my friend. And thanks for tuning in tonight. Well, if you've got anything on your mind, throw it up there. So it's been topsy-turvy. We've seen some fast movement by the Trump thing. And I have to tell you, the whole spirit has been different. Just watching Trump roll around the country, going to UFC, going to Houston for the SpaceX launch, absolutely was. And it's been fun to watch the change. Like, you can just see there are more and more people out there who are, maybe they were all out there to begin with, but there's so many people now actually actively out there doing their thing and admitting to be not just a Donald Trump fan, but a conservative, people who didn't want this country going in the direction it was going. And it sent a big message. Now, it ain't enough, because you see these people out there, some of these governors and mayors in Massachusetts and Chicago and LA who are still clinging to the sanctuary city thing. And if I was Trump, I would go on TV and say, you know what? I'm not coming to your states. I'm not coming to your cities. Um, you guys can live with the migrants in those cities and states, and we'll clean them up from anywhere else. And you can live with them. And let's see how the constituents in their cities and states handle that. I would go right after them. I'd go right on TV if I was Trump and say, you know what? They can all move to those states. You can have them all. You can pay for them all and watch the exodus. That's how I would handle if I was Donald J. Trump. But that's I'm not. I'm just here on the Thursday night with you guys. And but yes, it was a landslide win. I watched the election. I was expecting to be up till 4 a.m. waiting for, and maybe days for a decision. And by 11 o'clock, people were starting to pick states out and call them. And boy, oh boy, you couldn't have picked a better night. And it was resounding, folks. There was no doubt. Even the states that he didn't win, he moved in a big direction. In California, in New York, in those states. If Florida couldn't have been more Trump country before, it got even bigger. Yeah, Will, I saw that speech. I didn't know till a few years ago that Blackie was from Staten Island. He was born in Tampa, but he grew up in Staten Island. But I actually sent him an email last night. I'm trying to get him to be a guest on the show. But yeah, the night that Trump did the MSG rally, he was performing next door. So that was actually a very cool speech and a pretty good concert. I got to see some of it through the video. So I actually reached out to Blackley Lawless and his people to see if I can get them on the show. We'll see. I would love to have him on, talk a little Staten Island, talk a little Donald J. Trump, and talk a little heavy metal. It's always good. I haven't had a guest in a long time. I haven't asked anybody to be on the show. So, but, yeah. So much to get to tonight to talk about. Jeff's will be on in a few minutes, so I'll take a minute to talk a little baseball. We're going to talk Giants, Jets, obviously Tyson Paul, which was a disaster and a joke. I see this class action lawsuits, but we'll get to that when Jeff pops up. This whole Juan Soto thing's going to turn into quite the fiasco, I think, and it's just going to come down to money. I think Juan Soto's a decent guy. He's a hell of a ball player. But if anybody thinks that this has anything to do with friendship or loyalty or teams he rooted for growing up, you're out of your mind. Aaron Judge has just been named the 2024 MVP. Congratulations to Aaron Judge. Now, if he could just hit in October, boy, oh boy, he'd be a Hall of Famer tomorrow. Juan Soto's going to sign with the team that offers him the most money. Now, I've read reports that Steve Cohen has said whatever they offer, add $50 million. So he's actually essentially adding an extra year or so to a contract. So, can anybody compete with that? How high will you go? I've seen 15 years, $660 million as where it needs to be. Who's willing? I don't know. If you're the Yankees, are you that willing? To me, and again, I think Juan Soto's a great player. But is he winning you titles? Again, he won one, yes, on a really good team. Since then, hasn't won. So I don't know. Like I would obviously want him. I would say give him a good amount of money, but there has to be a limit. Like you just can't damage the franchise going forward if you're going to give him all the money. So I would be very careful. I've seen teams like the Blue Jays. I can't see him going up there. I can't see him going to Toronto to play. They just don't have enough of a legacy. I've seen a bunch of teams. Are the Dodgers in play? Yeah, I mean, you have to think they are. I don't know how they afford them, but I didn't think they could afford Ohtani. So let's see. I still think it comes down to the Yankees and the Mets. I think if it's all things being equal, and the money, if the Mets and the Yankees offer $400 million and the Red Sox are offering $600, he's going to be a Red Sox. But if I think the money's all equal, if the money's all within pennies of each other, I would tell you, I think it comes down to the Yankees or the Mets. I think that's the two teams. I think he wants to be in New York. I think he enjoyed his time with the Yankees. That doesn't mean that they got any more an advantage. If they offer $100 million left or $25 million less, he probably doesn't sign. So, but I think if all things are being equal, I think the Mets are in it till the last minute. I think it would have to be, is there a cap? If he wanted to if it got to $800 million, is that the cap? I mean, if it's $750, is that What's the cap? I mean, you paid Ohtani $700 million, that all deferred. Are we afraid to pay Soto? I would not get that far. But, if the Yankees feel or the Mets feel or the Dodgers, I think those are the three teams that are probably the most likely to land him. But I think he's made it clear. He wants to sign for the most money. I think to me, he can go 10 years. He can go 5 years, 7 years, and then do another contract. You kind of bank it on yourself. Or you can go all in on one big one. And I think that's what he's doing. I mean, he's 26 years old. Yeah, Frankie, I have, Frankie, I don't doubt it. I don't know if are those teams, the Dodgers, Soto said no to deferred and no to West Coast. Mets will offer 701. Yeah, I've said from the beginning, I think the Mets are the team. I think Cohen wants him. I think the Mets need him. They need a face of the franchise. I know Lindor's a good player and all, but Lindor is not Soto with personality. I think Lindor's a good player, a really good player. At times he can be a great player, but he disappeared for 2 months this year. First 2 months of the year, he was nowhere to be found. Watching Soto every day as a hitter, very few better. All-around player, yeah, he's got tools. There's no doubt. I still think it comes down to the Mets. I think it's just going to come down to, will the Yankees match? At what point does somebody play chicken? And I think that if Cohen wants him, he's going to get him. No, he's a good player, no doubt about it. But he's not the face of the franchise yet, or not the face of the franchise that the Mets want. They want Soto. And I think they need the star power to put people in the seats. Even with the Mets playing as well as they did this year, they don't sell out. They don't bring in the numbers that the Yankees do. Soto goes there. Maybe they make another move. They still got to get some more pitching, fix the bullpen. That's a team that's should be right there. All right, we've all learned, watching the Jets, that nothing is guaranteed because you sign a great player. So none of that matters. Okay, look at the way the Mets started off this year. It could happen again next year. Who the hell knows? But I would tell you, if I was a betting man on this one, I would put my money on the Mets. I think Cohen wants him. I think that team needs him more so than the Yankees do. As much as the Yankees need him, and they do. There's no doubt. The Yankees have the face of their franchise in Judge. They have a great player in Judge. Just won the MVP. I don't think it's as critical for the Yankees to sign him as it is for the Mets, and it's more for the off the field, bringing the people. You Mets sign him, I will tell you that their ticket office number will be solid. I don't know about the Phillies. Again, will they match? Again, if their money is better than the Mets, he'll go to the Phillies. I even heard him say he won't go to the West Coast. I've not heard that. I didn't hear anything about the deferred money. Maybe the Dodgers can pay him flat out, right? Because they're not paying Ohtani flat out because they're playing the Ohtani and deferred money. I don't know, but I will think it comes down to the two New York teams. Yeah, and the problem is, if you really look at it, go do your homework, guys. I did a little bit of it. In the next 4 or 5 years, there isn't anybody of the magnitude going to be available free agent wise at this moment bigger than Soto. So, you can get a guy in a trade who gets dumped, not based on just who's going to be a free agent next few years. I believe Soto is the guy for the next few years. So to me, if you're going to spend the money, spend it now and spend it on him. He's 26 years old. Even if the last 5 or 6 years are bad, and most of them are, he's 26. He hits his stride at 28, 29, 30. You're 5, 6, 7 years in. This guy is still in his prime of his career, and I think he's getting better and stronger. He had 41 homers this year. So I think for the Mets, it's ultra important for them to sign Soto, and I think Cohen knows it. I think he knows that he needs that spark plug player. He needs to fill the seats, all of that. No. Baltimore has a couple great free. Yeah, but not to that magnitude yet. No, none of those guys are of that magnitude of Soto. I'm not telling you that there's not going to be some good ball players available, but there's nobody who's Soto in the next 5 years. Judge is not. Trout's not Trout anymore. So Ohtani's off the grid. Who's in that category? Like, give me the is Fernando Tatis anymore in there? I mean, Lindor. If you want to put Lindor in that category, he's locked up for the next 6 or 7 or 8 years, right, with the Mets. So to me, there's nobody coming out of that magnitude. There's good ball players. Don't get me wrong. No, but nobody in that category. So this to me is a big prize. I expect this to be over with before Christmas. I think that once he's done the tour, the numbers are coming in. You'll get a little bit of negotiation. A couple of teams will bail out. Again, I think in his head he knows where he wants to go. The question is just going to be: will the Mets and the Yankees get up to that high? Will the Dodgers get up that high if he's not adverse to going out to the West Coast? So if the numbers all come in and the Yankees and the Mets are 350 and 300, and the Phillies and the Orioles are 600 million, well, then it changes the game. I think it comes down to the two New York teams. Yeah, Paul, I totally agree. I think he's the guy. I just don't know. Other than with the Nationals as a kid, basically, he hasn't been the difference on a team. I think this year he did make a big difference for the Yankees, but between then and now, he really hasn't. So, if you go to the Red Sox and he's the only player you have, you're not winning anything. If he goes to the Phillies, they're close. They have some good ball players. He helps. To me, even for the Mets, I don't think he's the game changer. I think there's too many question marks. And then the question is, if you pay him $700 million or $650 million, can the Mets still make moves to get to where they need to get? I mean, the early part of that year, what's the real Met team, guys? And you guys watch them a lot more than I do. Is the first half of the year, or let's say the first third of the season, the middle third, or the last third? Which is the real Met team? Are you expecting big things out of Nimmo next year or McNeil? We expecting Alonso to bounce back and actually hit in the clutch. Is Lindor gonna disappear? Is the pitching staff gonna outproduce what the people expected? So to me, Soto signing with the Mets does not guarantee them anything else than a star attraction. There's still a lot of holes on the team. Same for the Yankees. Okay, guys, first base, second base, possibly third base, left field, bullpen help. The Yankees have a ton of things, but you got Judge, you got Garrett Cole, you got if Soto comes back, there's some talent there, and they proved that they can go to the World Series with that talent. I still think they had a lot of holes. The Mets have a lot of holes. Yeah. We're here, Jeff. Whenever you can get it, crank it up, my brother. You can take your time. But I think it's going to be an interesting and fun. I'm hoping maybe Cole's right. Maybe after that first but I think that was for the Padres, and I think he was looking to get to this point. Again, I think it's going to be more about years than it is about dollars. To me, I'd give the guy $100 million for 5 years. $100 million a year for 5 years, because I don't want to tie it up forever. The question, I think, is he wants that 15 years. He wants, this is it. I'm going to be here, and I'm not going anywhere. And again, if your team smart enough to sign him, God bless you, man. He's not even in his prime yet. He is not even in his prime. Think about Judge really just kicking into gear the last 3 years, 28, 29, 30, 31. Think about him getting stronger and better. This guy's going to be, he's going to be phenomenal. The question is, can you sign him and put enough of a team around him? That's the question. Again, I think at that point he was young. Again, I don't know what he was looking for then. I can't say. And I don't know now. I don't think he's looking for a small deal. I think he's looking for the big one. Is he going to get $750, $800 million? I have no idea. We'll see. I don't know what his rationale back then for not signing a 4 or 5 or 6 year deal and being signed for until he's 28. Think about it. He could have signed that deal with the Nats and been 26, 27 years old and signing this deal now. So think how crazy that was. So listen, smart guy. He bet on himself, and he certainly won. And somebody's going to be a lucky team. I think it's the Mets. I've been saying this for months. I don't think Uncle Steve is going to be outbid. I think if he says, hey, the Yankees are at 700 million, I'm giving you 750, and Soto could Soto say, I'll stay with the Yankees, 50 million over the course of 15 years, it's not enough to, I don't know. To me, he's going to take every dollar possible. I think he takes every dollar possible. So I think Cohen's just going to break the bank. How pissed does he want to make the other owners? That's the question. Is he going to want to piss everybody off? That's the question. Is he going to want to piss everybody off and say, hey, I broke the bank? We'll see. It's going to be interesting, guys. Hard Rockin' Sports, thanks for tuning in. I'm waiting on Jeff to get in. We're going to get to the Mets. We're going to get to Tyson Paul. I don't know if you guys saw it. To me, it was the biggest joke. And it just lends to the credence that this was a fixed fight. It was scripted. And I'll get more into it. Jeff's on. We'll talk about Daniel Jones being benched and basically cut from the Giants. Why I am not against it. I didn't. I'll offer you my perspective. I'm a big Daniel Jones fan, and I was hoping that he was the guy. There was a lot to like about Daniel Jones. I'll get into it, Jeff. We'll talk about the Jets. We'll talk about a great football game I saw. I didn't get to see a lot of football this weekend. I was traveling, but I did see the Chiefs-Bills game. It was very exciting. And, people talk about Mahomes, and rightfully so. But I got to tell you, if I was starting a team, it's hard not to take Josh Allen. That guy's just a beast. I mean, that guy is just a beast. So we'll talk about that game. We'll talk about the Jets and the miserable team that has turned into. I'm cranking up some music stuff, so stick around. We got plenty to talk about. I'm just hoping Jeff gets on because I'd like to get to start talking about the Tyson Paul fight. But in the meantime, I just saw an interview by Paul Stanley. And he was talking about how he could see the handwriting on the wall that there could be some one-off Kiss shows. I don't think he said what type. I'm assuming something big. And yeah, I could see it. I could see them next year, throwing on the gear and doing one show someplace, whether it's a benefit concert or a festival, or just go, open up the Garden and playing. I could see it. I hope they don't. Again, I got into this one time with somebody, and they were like, "Oh, you always say you want these guys to play for. What's the difference?" They come back. You told the fans you were done. Everybody bought end of the road this. They want the tickets. They spent the extra money. Everybody went to the latest Kiss last show. Do have some respect for the people who paid that money. Now, if you want to tell me, hey, we're cranking it up for one show, we're doing a benefit, we're not charging people, all right, that's okay. But if you're going to crank it up, go to the Garden or the Bowl in California or some big event and charge tens of thousands with all sorts of merch, you kind of belittling what the fans did with your final, your end of the tour, end of the road tour. So to me, that's the problem I have. You've sucked the fans into paying for things because it's the last show, because it's the last tour. It's the last time they're going to be on stage. Imagine if you bought tickets, and I saw them. I think Frankie, you did too. I think Frankie actually went. The last two shows, the tickets were outrageous. I mean, secondary market, you couldn't get a nosebleed for less than like $600, $700, $800. I wouldn't spend it. I'm glad I rented it on TV. I still have it. I watched some of it the other night. I still have it DVR'd on my computer, on my TV. Now I think I probably lose it in a little bit, but I could crank that up anytime. I watched the whole thing from my house. It sounded great. It looked good. Again, nothing like being there. So think about all the people who paid thousands of dollars to be at the last Kiss show, and then they do another one. I mean, that's what bothers me. So, yeah. So to me, I get that what they want to do, but then don't call it the last show. Don't call it the last show. Don't make a mockery out of it and a mockery out of you to people who bought, like Frankie has a ticket stub right now for the last show. He went to the last show. Hold on a second. Yeah. So, but it ain't the last show. So if they play another show and Frankie's that ticket, does that devalue it? Of course it does. It has to. It's not the last show. You can't say I went to the last Kiss show. No, well, they play it again. So I hope they don't. I hope they come to their senses and say, now, I'll say this. I would say this. If you want to tell me they're going to get the entire old band together and play a show, and now I got to say, screw them guys. Sorry, guys. But even that's kind of pissy. So, but no, to Frankie's point, he should be mad. He paid a ton of money to go to a show because he's a fan. He's a lifelong Kiss fan. I know Frankie's a lifelong. I've seen the pictures from his kid days dressing up as Kiss. So, I've been a Kiss fan since 75. If, I didn't pay to go to the last concert, I refused to give them that money. I just couldn't see me doing it. And but if I paid for that show and I went and bought some merch and I got some stuff hanging, I'm like, I went to the last Kiss show, and then they play another show, I'd be pissed off about it. So, but Paul put the seed out there, so nothing would shock me. I know that there's been some talk of Sabbath doing another show with Bill Ward this time. Don't know if that's ever going to happen or not, but there has been some communication about it. I don't know how Ozzy, if Ozzy can handle that, but we'll see. Let's see. I'm just going through some of my notes here to see if there's anything I want to talk about music wise. Nope, I don't think so. Watch out for the Adrian Smith, Richie Kotzen stuff. One of their last singles was really that's two talented guys. Now, Richie Kotzen is a little obnoxious, but so is Adrian Smith. But they make good music together. If you get a chance to catch up some of their old stuff, they got some stuff coming out. Let's see. Fleetwood Mac. Ace is still doing it without any backing tracks. Pretty cool. Not a Dream Theater. Any of you guys Dream Theater fans? I just can't. I couldn't. That's a really talented band, but that's just one of those bands that I just could never sit down and really listen to. It just maybe it was just over my head. I don't. It's kind of in the same vein as Malmsteen. I mean, I watched a few Malmsteen. I've listened to some of his early stuff. I mean, it's tremendous, but after a while, it's like, okay, when does this end? Is there a bridge in here somewhere? Does something sound different? Let's see. Malmsteen steps into the world of health and wellness with his own multivitamin supplement gummies. Okay, that's what I want to buy. Yngwie Malmsteen supplement gummies. Good for you. I love when the guys are trying anything to get some money. Boy, that's amazing. Again, Richie Kotzen and Adrian Smith should have released it yesterday. White Noise, take a look at it, see if you guys like it. Bruce Kulick, I forget he was even in Kiss. I think that's Chief's Trick is out there to support Rod Stewart. I saw something that what's his name? Alex Van Halen said that they got 2 or 3 full albums of unreleased Van Halen music. I'd be interested to hear that. I would love to, I always want to hear, lost tapes and stuff, that, people just never got out there and maybe never got finished the way they wanted to. I'm curious to see if they put that out there. I'm sure they will. Alex will look to maybe Wolfie goes out and kind of cleans it up a little bit, and they release it. I would be shocked if they didn't. I think anytime that a guy like Eddie Van Halen has put together some music, it's worth. Do we need a new tree? I'll ask. I don't know the answer to that, Sharon. I will definitely ask my wife and let you know. I know you guys have had multiple. Are you getting a new tree to the collection? And where is your husband? I'm stalling here until he gets here. But what was I just talking about? I don't know. Brett Michaels. So yeah, again, I put some message out for Blackie Lawless. I'm looking forward to hoping to get him on. You guys, Wasp fans, I love the hits. I never really got dug deep into them. Again, more famous to me for the Chris Holmes part of the documentary. Was it the? Oh my God, I can't think of the name of that documentary where he's just down in vodka like we're drinking water. That to me that's why that and Fuck Like a Beast and all that crazy shit. Yeah, but not a bad band, and I always liked that. But once I found out that Blackie Lawless was from Staten Island, it kind of changes the game for me. I'm just texting Jeff. Yeah. So yes, that's it. Yes. But again, good. So it's one of those. For me, growing up, I was a metal snob. So understand, like, I got into metal with Ozzy, Maiden, Priest, Dio. I wasn't a huge Sabbath fan. I loved bands like Accept and Saxon. The outside bands that as I like to call them, I kind of snobbed them. Certainly the hair band stuff, I kind of snobbed it. I got into hair metal 10, 12 years ago. That's when I really got into it, and went backwards and kind of got into it a little bit more. I poo-pooed bands like Rat, who I'm still not a huge fan of, by the way. But I poo-pooed that, Skid Row and Warrant, and now I've kind of dug back into it. I for some reason though, I liked Poison's first couple albums. So I don't know how I did that. Like, I poo-pooed everything else, but Poison kind of made it, and I bought them. I remember buying them, the albums and stuff. So I've always kind of been a closet Poison fan. But the rest of them I kind of poo-pooed, and Wasp was in that, Man of War. These are bands that I knew of, but I was never really into them. I never got into Megadeth, and so I was kind of a metal snob. I didn't like just everything metal. It was a lot of bands I just kind of poo-pooed that I kind of learned later on, kind of go back and like. So so I've been digging into Wasp a little lately, and in the hopes that I'll hear from somebody from the Blackie Lawless camp, and he'll come on. I did the whole from Staten Island, a couple Staten Island guys. I'm hoping that that helps, and we get Jeff. You're still not there. It just says your device is not connected. I'm gonna buy you a new computer for Christmas. I did get into a little bit of the Quiet Riot. I think everybody bought in on the first album or two. See, for me, Quiet Riot was more about, I had heard that it was Randy Rhoads' band, and then he left to go to Ozzy. So you kind of wanted it, and they hit the big hit. And I saw them open for Maiden. I did love. I did like all the Queensryche was a favorite of mine. I've seen them a half dozen times. Better. Saw them recently without Jeff Tate. I've seen Jeff Tate perform solo. So I've been a big fan of some of those bands, but I definitely was a metal snob. Like, I can look back now and say, man, why didn't you just open up your eyes a little bit? I liked Crue's first few albums. Then they went off the rails, and I bailed. I think it was more I saw them at concert and they sucked out loud, and that was it for me on Crue. But I wish as a teen sitting in my room that I had bought in more on some of those bands and given them a chance, like Wasp. There's a few bands. I got to be honest, even the hair bands like Trickster and Warrant and Skid Row. Later on, now I've become more of a fan of theirs than I did then. So pretty cool. Hold on, I get a private. I see. What's the chances? All right. Jeff's having a hard time getting on tonight, folks. I don't know what's going on in his house, but he's having some computer issues. So I'm gonna start to kind of turn the dial a little bit here and get into. I want to get into the Tyson Paul fight, instead of just kind of winging it. So in the meantime, I'm sitting there waiting. I will send you a new link. Try that. Let me try to send Jeff a new link, folks. Hold on 1 second. We'll see. And sorry. In the meantime, so guys, who watched the fight beside me? I know a lot of people did. In the room, but yeah. Again, so Jeff says, so let's get it on. I got a lot to talk about, so let's. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it. The wife cuts the hair. It's try to be stylish at 57, Paul. It's not easy. It's not easy to be stylish at 57. I certainly wasn't growing up. You know me well enough. You know me long enough. I don't think at any point in my life anybody could ever said, that's one handsome guy. It's a good haircut. So I'm trying now. But as long as the wife doesn't kick me out, what the hell? In the meantime, we talked about Soto. I think he's going to the Mets. So we'll move on to the Tyson Paul fight. After the Tyson Jones fight, I said I would never watch boxing again. I quit watching boxing in 1999. There was a fight, Meldrick Taylor, and I want to say it was Zab Judah. It was a Meldrick Taylor fight. It was almost over. Richard Steele was a referee. 10 seconds left, and Meldrick Taylor finally gets in trouble, and Richard Steele jumps in, stops the fight, and he loses. And then shortly thereafter, Boom Boom Mancini loses a fight, should never have lost to Macho Camacho. And I swore at that point I gave up boxing. And I did. I stopped watching boxing from 1999 until the Roy Jones fight. Didn't watch any of the Tyson Holyfield fights live. None of it. I stopped watching boxing. I got fed up paying the money, spending the time. I watched the Roy Jones Jr. Mike Tyson fight. I bet on it, and it was a joke. Okay, we all know it was a joke day. It was a hug fest. Threw a couple punches. It was obvious that they made the decision that they were going to cover for each other. Nobody was going to get hurt. Move on. And I swore that was it. I wouldn't do it again. Now, I bought into Tyson and Paul. Why? I watched training videos. I saw Tyson throwing bombs. I'm saying, here's a guy 58. I'm 57. I want to see him throwing bombs. I'm excited. Maybe Tyson's going to go out there and let it all hang. I want to see Tyson let it all hang for the last time. I got to be there to watch it. Okay, so anyway, I wasted an entire night. I watched all the pre-stuff. Now I'm going to get into the production and all of that. And I'm going to give you my quick overview. I watched all the pre-fights. The first fight sucked. The second fight wasn't terrible. I forget the Ramos versus Ballesteri or I forget the guy's name. Decent fight. The ladies' fight was a decent fight. I thought the outcome was wrong. I thought the other woman should have won. but it was a good fight. It wasn't. It was action. It was it was entertaining fight. And then we get to Tyson. What's up there, Frankie Jeffrey? So we get to the Tyson Paul fight. So I made a couple bets. First bet I said was that it would go to no decision. I had in my brain, they were going to dance. I'm going to get screwed, and this thing's going to end in a no decision or draw or whatever. So I made a $50 bet, lost it. So then I said, I'm going to hedge my bet. I think Tyson might actually go out there, throw a bunch of bombs in the first 2 rounds. This guy's a bum, and he's going to get caught on the chin, and he's going to go down, and he's never getting up again. I bet $100 on that. So I lost $150. So what did I see? What did we all see? What I saw was 2 guys who were hell-bent on not hurting each other. Now, I've watched all these highlight videos where they show missed punches and pulled punches. I don't know if those are real. I have not gone back to watch the fight again, and I won't. Looking back at it now, by the 3rd round, Tyson had no legs. There were no legs left. Okay? So my thought process is, okay, if you weren't at 58 years old, if you're not running 7, 8, 9, 10 miles a day, you have to figure that you ain't going to last very long in this fight. Right? So to me, you're going to come out there and first 2 rounds, what are you going to do? What do they say? They say that your power never goes away. Now, the punch may be slower, right? You may be able to throw less of them, but power never goes away. Okay? And you watch Tyson's training videos and you see the guy's throwing bombs and you can hear the so to me, I said, okay, maybe he comes out there the first 2 rounds and he just throws bombs at this guy and he catches him with a couple, and this guy's either going to run the rest of the fight or maybe catches him and drops him. Well, that doesn't happen. And slowly but surely, you're starting to realize that Tyson ain't throwing any punches. I mean, he's not attacking. I mean, he threw 75 punches in 8 rounds, so less than 10 punches a round. He only hit on 18 punches, a little more than 2 punches a round. So you can't, there's not much that I do know. I'm a smart guy. Okay, I'm not. I'm the first to admit I barely graduated high school. I barely got out of 8th grade. If they didn't want to throw me out, I wouldn't have got out. So I don't consider myself an intelligent person. But I'm smart enough to know that if I was going to box somebody, the only way I can really win is by throwing punches. I think that's a pretty solid defense. I think that's a pretty solid way to handle a fight. That's your plan. That's your game plan. I'm going to go out and I'm going to try to hit the other guy more than he hits me, maybe harder than he hits me, and maybe I win the fight. So to me, if I'm Tyson, I got to go out there, and none of it happened. And I think it's just another stain on boxing to have this happen. And I don't know if they try this again with somebody else. I don't know if this happens along the way. Hold on, we might have Jeff. Hold on, I see him. Yeah, I mean, Frankie, hold on, let's see if Jeff's there. Jeff?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Your video is very frozen.
Can you hear me? Can you hear?
I can. Now we got you.
I think
yes, you're much better now. Your video's a little crazy. I can hear you. I hear you.
I don't see you.
You don't see me? Jeff?
Okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I see you. I can hear you.
Okay, there you are.
Your video's a little fuzzy, but you're there.
I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, I don't know. You're there. There was times when the chin was. Yeah, Frankie. I agree with you. There would seem to be a ton. Again, I've seen all of these videos, highlights where they stop one punch and they show you. I don't know if that's all real. I don't know if that's AI. I don't know if that's Jeff. Hefe. Jeff. Yeah, see, I don't see 2 of them. I got 1, but it's completely frozen. I'm going to keep talking. Maybe Jeff thing will come in clear along the way. So again, I think at the end of the day, my theory on this, guys, and you guys can all chime in
Yeah,
on
can
it.
you hear me?
I can, Jeff.
you hear me?
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
guess not.
I can hear you. Yes.
Wow.
I can
Wow.
definitely hear you, but it's intermittent.
Me now?
I hear you, but like you're there and then all of a sudden you're not there. Jeff?
Yeah. It's bad tonight. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Fucking Christ.
Jeff? Jeff? Yeah, I don't know. So my theory on this is now Joe Rogan in his podcast said that there were stipulations in the contract where if Tyson knocked him out in the first round or the fight ended in the first round, Tyson got little to no money. If it was under 3 or 4 rounds, he got money, but not much money. If the fight finished, he got the full purse. So the theory I have is somebody went to him and said, if you knock this kid out, you're not getting paid.
Can you hear me now?
I can. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I can. I hear you, Jeff. Frank Jeffrey hears you. And Frank Catalano's making fun of you. Jeff. He's totally frozen right now. So to me, at the end of the day, I think somebody went to Tyson and said, if you knock the guy out before the 8th round, you're not getting paid. I think everybody, I think Netflix or whoever was doing this fight wanted 8 rounds. They wanted a full fight. For whatever reason, they wanted the full fight. And they didn't want it to end in the first round. And I think by the 3rd round,
Can you hear me now, man?
I can. Yes. I heard you. But now you're frozen. So I think, to me, at the end of the day, I think he had to finish the fight, or at least get deep into the fight. And then when he got deep into the fight, he had nothing left. He had no legs.
Wow. Look at this shit.
Have faith. So I that's my theory, because nothing else makes any sense. Yeah, Frankie, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, he had to finish the fight or at least get deep into it.
Can you hear me?
I can, Jeff. Yes, I can. I'm definitely hearing you once in a while, but not constant. So
you hear me now?
I can. Yes.
You keep.
I'm hearing you.
Okay,
everybody's hearing
tonight,
you,
man.
Yeah, we're hearing you. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, just you're intermittent. So I would just keep talking and see what goes.
I see you talking about the Tyson fight.
Yep. Yeah. So good. You want to offer your opinion on it? Go ahead.
Okay. It's just like real life. Nobody listens anyway. Tyson was definitely told not to hit him.
Okay.
Definitely told not to hit him. And listen, I don't care what anyone. Can you still hear me?
I can, guy. Yeah, just keep going. I'll let you know if I don't hear you. Yes.
Tom?
Yes, Jeff,
Okay,
I hear you.
Hear
Yes.
me.
Yes.
That was a whole set. That whole thing was fixed and set up. It was total bullshit. Mike Tyson, even 58 years old, should have been able to knock his head off and had so many chances to do it. And every time he charged it at Jake Paul, you notice he took 2 or 3 steps and he had to hold himself back.
Yes, I see all the videos.
You notice that?
Sure.
Did you see
absolutely.
that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
And he would not follow through with the charge on Jake Paul. Yeah. Jake Paul at one point in time had his hands down. And I'm not talking when he was making fun of him. He just had his hands down. Mike Tyson could have killed him with the right place shot.
Yes.
And I don't understand. Like, why you want to be taken serious as a fighter? Why would you even do that?
Yeah, I don't know the answer.
Yeah, that was some mental shit happening when he was chewing on the glove.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Yeah, again, somebody, Roy Jones, who, again, I'll get into, the team that was doing the analysis of the fight, and then the team that was in the studio. We'll do that after this. But Roy Jones said it. He said, during his career, he used to bite his glove. And I said, I watched every Tyson fight.
Never once seen that.
It might have happened once. He did nothing but bite his glove the entire night. I didn't understand it. And at some point, the highlight of the night can't be Mike Tyson, walking around the dressing room with no pants on. Yes, Joe, I agree. I saw that whole thing. So I think that at the end of the day, his plan was to try to knock him out in the 7th or 8th round, but he had no legs left after the 3rd round. After the 3rd round, he was done.
Do you really believe that?
You know what, Jeff? I don't know if I do or not, but I think I've trust Joe Rogan, who's in that world. He does all the commentating for the UFC. I believe if Joe Rogan says that, I'm going to believe that, because it makes total sense. Nothing else makes any sense. Like, why would Tyson, if you know that you can't go the distance with anything and you want to really win that fight and you want to show people you're still the baddest man on the planet, what are you doing? You're going out there in the first 2 rounds and you're throwing everything you got at him.
Yeah, but he was told not to do that, without a doubt.
I agree.
He won the first 2 rounds because he threw a couple punches, connected, and Jake Paul stayed away from him and did nothing but tie him up. All right, now maybe Joe Rogan said that he was tired, but you want to know something? You watched the same training videos I did. Yeah. We used to talk about them all the time. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you had said that was a 35-year-old man in those training videos, and he was training his hardest because he's getting his first shot at the heavyweight title, I would have believed it. No, Joe, that was not worth watching it. That was a baggy black ass as far as I was concerned, man.
But Jeff, I agree with you that I think he was told not to do it because they wanted to fight the fish. So I think it falls into what Joe Rogan said about him getting paid only if the fight went the distance. Because
that's possible. That's possible.
Yeah.
But he was 2 minutes. The rounds were 2 minutes.
Yes.
He wasn't getting hit.
Nope.
Okay. He was getting jabbed. He wasn't getting hit. Nobody threw a power punch in that fight. Nope. Not one single kill shot was thrown in that fight.
Nope.
Okay. So he wasn't getting hit. He wasn't getting pounded to the point where he was losing air. He couldn't breathe. He was running for his life. Nothing of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing of that nature. That's why it was total bullshit. Jake Paul didn't want to get hit by Mike Tyson. Would you want to get hit by a 58-year-old Mike Tyson?
No, I watched the videos, but again, if Tyson really wanted to win that fight, I think he could have. He would have had to do it in the first 2 rounds, but he didn't. So to me, it was, hey, Mike, you want to knock him out, but you don't get paid. Finish the fight, knock him out in the 7th round, knock him out in the 8th round. But by that point, Tyson he could barely stand in the 3rd round. He could barely stand up. He was barely moving. I thought he was going to quit in the 5th round. He was dragging his tail. So the Joe Rogan theory, to me, made the most sense after I heard that.
That was a scripted fight.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
I don't believe there's no way that man has been posting. How you doing, Pete? There's no way he's been posting videos of him training like that, and then he's tired after fucking 3 rounds, 4 rounds.
I disagree. That. I think he could not have done that for 4 or 5 rounds. I think what we saw in the training videos was legit, but that's different than being in the ring and the adrenaline. I think he had 2 rounds where he could have fought like that, and then he had nothing left.
He didn't fight though, but that's the thing. He didn't fight. He didn't hit. He didn't throw a punch. He didn't take a punch.
That's why. But that's why
happening. He wasn't.
I agree with you.
Slamming him down.
Well, I agree with you. I think this was all about, hey, Mike, if you want your entire package, the fight's got to finish. So Tyson went out there, bit the gloves, didn't do anything, and he got the payout. And to me, anybody, if they try this again at any level with anybody, if anybody pays for this now, I heard now that this class action lawsuit's about to start for this. People are going after Netflix. And I want to get into the Netflix. Why was Rosie Perez there? Cedric the Entertainer. I mean, if you're Netflix, let's do it. If you're Netflix, guys, and this is your first real big event, you got Mike Tyson, the baddest man on the planet, still one of the biggest names in boxing, if not the biggest name of our generation. in Cowboy Stadium. You got 90,000 people there. It's your first big event, and your ringside announcing crew is some guy I've never heard, Roy Jones, who sounds like he's got the personality of a turtle, and Rosie Perez. That's who I got to listen to describe the fight. What the hell was that all about? I can't even imagine. Rosie Perez must be dating somebody who was involved, because it made no sense to me. Jeff, you hear me?
I didn't even know Rosie Perez was relevant. I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can.
No, she's not. Yeah, she's not relevant. That's the point.
I don't even know who the fuck, how old she is. She's got to be closing in on 70 years old.
No. I would say she's our age. If you ask me, I think Rosie Perez is probably in our age bracket, 59, 60, I would say. But
she's 60 years old. She was born in 64.
Yeah, so to me, I mean, this is your big event. Why wouldn't you get like a Jim Lampley? Go get big announcers, make this event. I'm listening, and then you do the pregame stuff, and in between the fights, you got some woman I've never heard of, another guy I've never heard of, and Cedric the Entertainer. This is your boxing analysis. They drag out Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield. Holyfield either didn't know what was going on around him. And then here's the big question: they got Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, obviously Evander Holyfield's got the big fights against Tyson. This is before the fight starts, and the first question they ask him is what? Evander, do you think he's going to bite Jake Paul tonight? That's the question you're going to ask in this thing. You're going to ask that's how moronic this was.
I didn't see that. By the time I put it on and caught it, it was literally just starting. I was able to catch it. I was lucky enough to catch it.
I saw all 4 hours.
Evander Holyfield. Last time I heard Evander Holyfield talk, he sounded like that fucking retarded kid on Fat Albert. He was just like.
I would like to see Richard Steele as referee. Yeah, it was. If you're Netflix, guys, you deserve to be sued. And it was the whole beginning of the fight. The first hour and change, the thing kept buffering, and then it would start, back where it was, and you'd be like 10 minutes behind, and you'd be 3 minutes behind. So you'd have to shut it off, come back. That's for me at least. So I don't blame them. They had 108 million people tuning into that fight. So listen, I get it. It's internet, it's computers. I get that part of it. So I don't blame them for that. Although I'd say, duh. But at the end of the day, the whole production sucked. It just sucked. The guy, they had Mike Tyson's kid as the pre-fight in the locker room. Come on, guys. Get professionals out there. I just didn't understand. If you're Netflix and this is your first big foray into live sporting events, and that's what you put out there, Rosie Perez, Cedric the Entertainer, there was nothing about that was legit. It was entertainment. And you might as well call it wrestling, Jeff. You might as well call it, go back to the old days, and it was WrestleMania 1 where they were dragging out Bob Uecker and Liberace.
Listen, I hear you. I agree. But you want to know something? I got to be honest with you, man. Yeah. I wanted to see somewhat of a fight.
Sure.
Okay. The announcing crew and everything, as stupid as it was, really didn't faze me much at all. I couldn't be bothered with that. I was like, after the first round, and I'm watching Tyson, I'm like, he won that round. I said, it looks like he's trying to fight him. Jake Paul's trying to stay away from him. Yeah. And then it took Jake Paul to the third round to start getting closer to Tyson, somewhat closer. But all he was doing was holding on to him. It looked like Jake Paul was scared shitless of him, to be honest with you. I think he was worried that Tyson was just going to knock him the fuck out. And then after a while, he realized that, all right, he's not gonna. He's gonna follow the script or whatever it took.
Well, I think he was afraid Tyson forgot. You get in the ring and all of a sudden the brain goes.
To be honest,
maybe. Yes, right. Bonix would have fixed the whole thing. It was baffling to me, and I swear to God, I would say, do me a favor, come over, poke my eyes out if they ever do something like this again, and I say I'm going to watch it, because to me this was if you're Mike Tyson, his last few fights against Peter McNeely and this one and that one, they were terrible. His legacy was ruined only to be saved somewhat by being in those movies and the one man show, and he's done a lot to resurrect his legacy. But if that's the way he's going to go out, just grabbing a $20 million check, I got to tell you guys, I have no respect for him, and I'll never watch a Tyson boxing video of any type. To me,
Tom,
that
the last thing that Mike Tyson gives a fuck about is you.
No, I get it.
Everybody else, $20 million will definitely comfort that.
Oh, I get it. I totally get it.
Shit less. And I don't know, if anything, maybe that motherfucker was high at his own fight. That's a possibility.
Listen, anything is humanly possible. All I'm saying is, if you're Mike Tyson, and I watched, there's a video out there. If you get a chance, find it. It's about Mike Tyson. It must have been a short time ago, talking about legacy. And he's like, legacy what? He said, one of these days I'll be dead and my legacy won't matter. Nobody's going to care about Mike Tyson 50 years from now or 80 years from now. And that's, maybe it's true. But, they still talk about Rocky Marciano in glowing ways. People still talk today about Muhammad Ali in glowing terms.
Mike Tyson had just way too much over him and about him and everything else. And I like Mike Tyson now. For a long time, I didn't like Tyson. I hated him.
Me too. Listen, he resurrected himself with me too. I agree with you.
Okay. Mike Tyson has just too many shadows, too many stains on him. People will talk about him, yeah, but nobody's going to give a fuck about him. Nobody cares. All right. You got your fucking head handed to you by Buster Douglas. Okay. You bit Evander Holyfield's ears off. Your everything that you built up with Custom Auto, you threw out the window with fucking Don King.
Yeah.
All right.
100%.
The rape allegations, the time in jail. All right. Everything else that you did in your lifetime is going to overshadow just about everything you did in the boxing world. Okay. He needed this fight will be looked upon as the joke that it was.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
And it's a shame. It's a fucking shame. You knew that this guy wasn't going to take his career and go to the next level and say, now I want to be a top contender. I want to be a challenger for the title. That would never have happened. Against a true heavyweight, a boxing heavyweight, he probably would be damaged goods when he was done, injured, hurt, bad. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's a terrible fighter.
Fucking Jake Paul's ass.
Oh, absolutely. And Pete, I agree with you. I have no respect for Jake Paul. You went in there basically knowing you were going to win. There's no doubt in my mind. And you're a joke. And if anybody treats it as anything other than a joke, good for them. But to me, that whole thing with him, I would never take him seriously again. I didn't take him seriously before. I thought Tyson would go out there and take his head off. I watched the videos. I don't think the guy can fight, to be honest with you.
Jake Paul, if he so chooses to further his career, okay? I mean,
which he probably
money that he got, he's got a lifetime supply already. He don't have to fight.
Oh, yeah. $40 million.
That's one thing. Second of all, if he chooses to fight again, he needs to do it against somebody who's real. You're not an old man, not an ex-boxer. He needs to do it against somebody who's in his prime. If there even is anybody in the heavyweight division at this point in time. I don't even know. I couldn't even name a boxer in the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
But whoever it is, he needs to do somebody in his prime, get in there, and have a great showing. If not, he needs to stop. He needs to stop.
No, I agree with you. And you know what? I hate this. I hate to put this much importance on it, but if Tyson got out there and had a huge fight, I think it could have put that boxing and especially the heavyweight division, at least you would have seen it in a nice light. Like you would have said, oh, there's Tyson. Again, did he go out there and beat a bum? Yes. He would, but it's still 58-year-old Mike Tyson. It would have been all over the news. It would have been everywhere. Now it's a joke. Now people are suing. There's conspiracy theories. This thing has turned into a joke. And the only thing Mike Tyson and Jake Paul did was sink boxing further than it already was. In my opinion,
was virtually impossible up until last week, because how much further down could it have gone? Evidently, a lot.
Yeah, again, even Pete, even to that, I I would love to wake up in the morning and watch a YouTube video showing the highlights of Jake Paul getting his ass kicked. I wouldn't waste 10 minutes on it. I really wouldn't. At this point in my life, after that, like had Tyson, I've never watched a UFC fight. I've never watched a UFC fight. And I've actually gotten intrigued now because I said, you know what? I've watched some highlights. Maybe I'll pick it up a little bit. But as far as boxing, up until 1999, I watched every big fight that was available. I never missed a big fight. Now, from this point on, I could care less about boxing. Honestly, I could care less.
There's no reason to watch it. There's no reason to watch it.
No.
You realize that you're talking about 30 years ago, a little bit more than 30 years ago, the heavyweights that were in that division, Riddick Bowe, Tyson, Foreman, Lennox Lewis.
Yeah.
All of these guys that were in there, it was an incredible division. Maybe the fights weren't that great, but there were some decent fighters in there.
Absolutely. Listen,
now there's nobody. The people are hungry for this. They are hungry for good boxing. But to watch Jake Paul and Mike Tyson,
to me, listen, at the end of the day, you look back at boxing, and there was no bigger, more prestigious title in the world than heavyweight champion of the world. Growing up, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you knew who the champs were. Like, you were the heavyweight champ of the world, and you didn't pay for dinner. You were the guy. Now, with all the different, WBA, WBO, WBC, with all of that stuff, and there's not a decent personality out there. I don't remember the last decent personality fighter to begin with. And you think with social media and the internet and all that stuff that goes on, like you would think it'd actually be bigger than it was. Like think about it. Like you back in the day, you had boxing magazines and you caught some clips on TV. You're lucky if you got to see a fight. Closed circuit TV. Some of the biggest fights in the world were on closed circuit TV. You couldn't see it. And
now, look what your friend Peter writes. UFC is a great substitute for boxing.
It may be right.
Well, is it?
I don't know. I never watched it.
The reason I'm asking the question is simply this, okay?
Yep.
Tyson was around for how many years as a legitimate heavyweight fighter? He only made 6 title defenses of the unified heavyweight championship title. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Well, that neither did I until Friday night. Okay.
Okay.
So these UFC fighters, they don't have the shelf life like that. We just said that Tyson only made 6 title defenses, unified title defenses of the heavyweight championship. Okay, and then it splintered off, and I don't remember how he lost what and what happened. But he only made 6. It seemed like he was on top of the world for years. A long time, but it wasn't evidently. These UFC fighters, they have a handful of fights, and then that's it. The UFC is just, to me, too dangerous you're going to have a fighter in a moment almost, or a fighter in a month, a fighter in a year. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a long-term. These guys aren't long-term fighters in that.
Yeah, I know a lot of the names. I've never watched an entire fight. I've seen a bunch of highlights. I've never watched an entire.
But you never see, the point being, like a Conor McGregor, you never see a guy that lasts 5-6 years in
I guess
UFC.
Yeah.
It's virtually impossible.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a great substitute. I think it's in my opinion, just what I see from the peripheral, it seems that UFC has grown to be a bigger entity than boxing. I don't.
Yeah, it is, of course.
Yeah, I don't see the fervor, the fever for people to go to. You see these UFCs, they're packed. The people are maniacs. They love it. It's like, it's crazy. I don't see that for boxing. I don't know where people box anymore. Who boxes? Is there boxing at the Garden? Who fights? When is there the big?
You know what it is too. UFC. These guys fight once a month, once every other month. You got a guy like Tyson would fight maybe once a year, maybe twice a year, depending on when the fight fell. Okay, that's one thing. Second of all, these guys have to fight a lot more often. Their shelf life isn't as long as a boxer.
Probably right.
So they got to fight more, so they're going to get a big fight. Second of all, or third of all, these fights, these UFC fights, some of them are over rather quickly. You know,
Yeah.
they can't. You know, you're not getting somebody that's gonna, try to stay away from his opponent and jab for 5 3-minute rounds and kill time that way. These guys don't have that luxury. They have, what do they fight, 3 5-minute rounds or something of that nature? They got to get in there and take care of business.
Oh, listen, I agree. Hard Rocket Sports, that's Jeff and I'm Tom. We're here on a Thursday night. First time we've been full-time in a while. We should be in a pretty steady groove for a while, so make sure you check on back. We got a lot more to get to. We're going to end this boxing talk and get to some football. I opened it with some baseball, did a lot of music stuff before Jeff popped up. So we're going to talk a little Jets and a little Giants to probably wrap up the show tonight. But thanks for tuning in. Stick around. We got a lot more to talk about. And we'll be back again next Thursday. Actually, next Thursday is Thanksgiving, so I don't know what we're going to do. I do want to try to do a show next week. So I'll talk to Jeff. Maybe we'll do an alternate day. Thanksgiving's next Thursday, and we're in the holiday season. Stick around. We'll figure out what we'll do. And these UFC shows, sport. Yeah. See, I don't know any about the TV shows, Pete. I don't get to see any. My kids are all into the UFC. They love it. They know all the fights. They know all the fighters, and I just I've never gotten into it. But
I think you're throwing smoke up now, and it's time to face the Piper, bro. Let's put this UFC Jake Paul shit to bed right now. I'm not talking about it anymore.
All right, you good? You
know what we got on tap?
Yes, I do. We got two teams to talk about.
I'm going to take care of the Jets right now.
All
right. I found something that I want to tell you, and then I want to hop over to the Giants because I have some legitimate questions.
Go for it.
Okay. I saw this meme about Joe Douglas today. All right. Okay. And the great job that Joe Douglas did. And it's not his fault. It's the coaches and the players that did not hold up their end of the bargain. Are you ready for this?
Go ahead.
Now you tell me, hear me out before you say anything, because then I want you to tell me if I'm right.
Sure.
He drafted Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall, Will McDonald, Braylon Allen, Jermaine Johnson, Michael Carter, traded for Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick, who's played, maybe 2 games? Rodgers.
I wouldn't put Hassan Reddick in that one.
Yeah, okay. Aaron Rodgers, he threw for some decent numbers, touchdowns, his interceptions a little much, but all of those people that they mentioned he drafted were from the last 2 drafts?
The last 2 drafts.
He never drafted anybody and nobody's left from his first 2 or 3 drafts. It took him that long to hit on a draft.
Yep, that's a good point.
So to me, I feel as though that if anybody should have went, it should have been him first. And Saleh was still at 500 or 1 game under 500 when he was still with the Jets, but yet he was the big fall guy. This guy Ulbrich, I mean, you want to talk about towing the company line. He must be at home shitting his pants right now, knowing that any second his phone rings, he's probably getting fired.
Well, I mean, he'll make the season. I can't imagine them firing him in the middle of the season.
Well, listen, this is the Jets, bro, so please don't.
Well, listen, here's the thing. I think it's very tough to keep a coach, fire the GM, and then bring in GM. We've already seen that with the Jets, where you keep the coach and you bring in a guy and force him to have that guy. It's not unprecedented. You have to think that the coach is spectacular. Maybe he's had a great career. Like, I don't know. Let's say use Belichick. So let's say Belichick, he's had a great career, but the GM, even though Belichick was his own GM, the GM was failing. So you say, let me bring a different GM in and get better players for the coach I know is great. I don't think that's the case. I think if you were going to fire Saleh at that point, you should have just fired Joe Douglas as well, because there's no way in the world now you were going to let Joe Douglas bring in a new coach.
So listen, I hear you, but my point was not to say that you keep Saleh in the long run. Okay, I'm just saying that Saleh should not have been fired.
No, I agree. I don't think at that point. Yeah, I agree.
He was doing a better job than they are at now. I think that team is beyond just giving up.
Oh, I think that's part of it. See, the problem I have with the Aaron Rodgers thing is there is nobody. I don't remember any human being saying, "Okay, this isn't going to work." Every single person, you, me, everybody said, "Great move by the Jets. They finally got a quarterback. Now they're in a position to win a Super Bowl."
I never said that.
Wait.
I never said that.
Everybody was all in on the Aaron Rodgers thing.
I never said that. I said that he would have been the best quarterback that they've had in a while. Yes. Did I say that they were going to the Super Bowl?
No. I never said that. No.
Did I say they were going to be a team to be reckoned with? No.
Nobody said that's a bad move. That's all I'm saying. Nobody.
No, well, listen, it was a move they had to make at the time.
Correct. Now,
okay, because they had nothing else, nobody else. They had no choice but to do it at the time. They also got a guy that has not played in 2 years playing football now, before almost 41 years old, who clearly does not want to be trotting out there every Sunday.
Correct. And I think the big problem for me is what I think they didn't do their homework on is why is his impact on the locker room. And I think that's the biggest thing is I don't think his teammates like him. I don't think he likes his teammates. And he's too eager and quick to throw everybody else under the bus. You know, when you're 35 and you're winning MVPs every year and you're a great quarterback, people put up with you and your bullshit. When you're 40, 41 and you can barely stand up back there for 60 minutes and you look like shit, people don't want to put up your bullshit. And I think that's the one thing that the Jets did not do their homework on to say is, okay, what kind of person is he? And do his teammates even like him at this point in time? And does he even want to play football? Because you're right. He looks like a guy who doesn't want to be here. Now the question becomes, does he want to be here next year? Because he's got 30. It doesn't
matter if he wants to be there next year or not. He can't be there next year.
I agree
with this team. But the sad part is this is what are you going to replay? You have to take control of the team again. You got to get the team back in line. He has to go. You can't. He was bitching, crying, moaning about anybody. All right.
Yeah, but what do you do, Jeff? You owe him $36 million.
So what? No.
Yeah.
No, it's non-guaranteed money.
Are you sure?
Yep.
I'm almost positive. Everything I've heard and read is that he has $36 million of guaranteed money next year, and the Jets either have to decide to, keep him as the backup quarterback and draft a quarterback or bring another guy in, or stuff it with him for another year. I'm almost positive he's got a $36 million guaranteed deal if he's on the roster. If he's not injured. Take a look at that, but I'll look it up also. But I'm almost positive that's what I read. Because there's been no talk that he won't be back next year.
Aaron Rodgers agreed to a revised contract with the Jets that is worth $112.5 million for 3 years. $75 million of the contract is fully guaranteed. Rodgers has a $35 million bonus paid in 2023, and his 2023 and 2024 base salaries are fully guaranteed. Says nothing at all about 2025.
It's guaranteed if he leaves or not. Jets got to pay him. Yeah, I'm almost positive they are stuck paying him next year. Like, I don't think he agreed to anything other than a fully guaranteed basically deal.
No, I read in more than one place today that money's not guaranteed.
Let's go with the assumption that you're right, which I don't think, because there has been no talk that the Jets are walking away. Everything I hear is that he'll be back next year. What do you do? Does he want to come back? Hey, if the Broncos can get rid of Russ. Again, the problem is, Frankie, it's not even, like Russell Wilson has his issues. But it's almost turning into where Aaron Rodgers is a team killer. But now you'd have to hope that he wants to retire rather than play. But I've listened to the fan every day, and they all say the same thing: is he ready to walk away from $36 million? So I think the question is, it's up to him whether he wants to retire. And nobody's trading for the guy. There is
nobody's going to trade for him.
Right.
And bring him in now that he's won. What does it mean to you?
Nobody's going to trade for him. Why would you want to trade for him?
Exactly.
And like you just said, you were in Green Bay. Green Bay, your whole career at Green Bay, waited for years to start in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the starting job in Green Bay, and then you wanted out. Why?
Well,
okay. And then
again,
you come to the Jets, of all places, you come to the Jets.
Well, I think originally he wanted to go to the West Coast. If you were asking me, when he wanted out of Green Bay, it was to go to San Francisco. It was to go to maybe the Rams, the Vegas, to go to Vegas, because I think he thinks, or at least he thought, he was going into TV at that point. Like, that was his next move. I think people have soured on him as a human being. They finally got to see him. And again, I think the Jets are stuck with now. The question is, do you keep him on the roster next year? and say you can stay here, but you're going to be the backup quarterback, and we're going to pay. We're going to bring a young kid in. We're going to draft a guy, and he's going to be the quarterback next year because you're not going to be our quarterback going forward. They could do that to him, and maybe he'll quit at that point. I don't know.
I don't think he's going to quit. I wish that he would quit. Listen, I wish he just walks into the desert, eats some fucking peyote, and never comes back.
Okay, so cutting or trading him would result in a loss of $25.5 million, roughly the majority of the Jets' entire projected $20 million pending additional costs. Yeah, again, it's got to be his choice to leave, and that would be retire, and I don't think that's happening. So I think the Jets are stuck with him another year, and that's the big problem is that it's a big bite of the cap, and then you have Aaron Rodgers.
Why would he want to stay there when he knows
36
this team the way it is now?
$36 million.
It doesn't matter. It's still $36 million. I understand that.
Yeah.
But you're going to go out every Sunday and get the shit kicked out of you.
No. I agree with you. The only thing, and I don't know if they can do that. Like if he can go in there and say, all right, pay me $18 million and I'll go away. Like, I don't know if that's possible. I know there used to be stuff like that.
Behind the scenes, if they were to do that, that would be a behind the scenes thing. But the Players Association would have to okay all of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Said, give me $20 million, I walk away.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that because of salary cap issues and all that after what it comes out. Yeah, I don't think, and first, I think we've talked about this. Nobody's trading for him.
Where's he going to go in a trade? Honestly, I'm asking Carl Graham. Where do you think that? Who would be stupid enough to trade for him at 41, other than the Jets?
After watching him play this year, yeah.
And who would take him? Because I was thinking about that today. Where does he go? Who's going to want him? Because that he's going to be ultimate short term.
Well, you'd have to be a team. I'll give you an example.
What,
Minnesota Vikings. A team that thinks. To me, you'd have to be a team that you think is ready to win a Super Bowl. Miami could, Miami with Tua is not going to win a Super Bowl. Do they have enough talent there to win a Super Bowl? It's possible. So you'd have to be a team that's full of veterans that you think is a quarterback away, just like the Jets did, though, that you're a quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl. That might be a team to do it. But are they going to take on a $36 million salary and a 41-year-old quarterback who looked like crap most of this year? Yeah.
The Jets could end up paying for some of that.
Yeah, I agree. The Vikings are a team, that's a team that thinks they have a chance to win it all. They don't have a quarterback. JJ's out. Maybe they do it. I think Miami could be a team that's in that same ballpark. Would I? No. But if you're the Jets, you got to go on the tour and you got to beg and plead and hope that you got a friend out there somewhere who owes you a favor. Remember, Brock Osweiler had a deal with the Broncos, remember? And then they traded him to the Texans. And then the next day the Texans cut him. Remember that?
Well, yes. He went. Actually, no. They didn't cut him. They traded him to the Browns.
Something, yeah, okay.
The Browns needed money for a minimum on their payroll.
Right, correct. That's my point. So he went to a team just to basically lose them. So one team can rid him off their books. The other team needed the money, and then they cut him so that they would have something on their books. So that you could, maybe there's a possibility of that out there. I don't know anybody who would, but if you're a team who thinks you're one player away and that guy's the player, maybe you make that deal. I don't know. I mean, could the Vegas Raiders bring him in as a novelty, for a year? Anything's possible. I wouldn't, if you're the Jets, you're almost saying, just take the salary. I don't want it. Give me a 17th round draft pick in the year 2060. You don't care. Texas signed him for 5 years, 200, then trade him to the Browns. And yes,
he played somewhat with them.
No, I don't think so. I think they cut him like 2 days later. He was off the team and gone. It was strictly a money. I don't think he played 2 minutes there. I would be shocked if you told me he played. But so again, I think the Jets there's a lot of issues, and Frankie just said it, and I agree with him. I think the bigger problem for me, if you're the Jets.
By the way, I'm sorry. Brock Osweiler is only 33 years old.
Yeah.
That's a name that sounds so old. It's unbelievable. He played 15 games with Houston.
Yeah, and then he got traded to the Browns.
He played with Denver from 2012 to 2015. Played 15 games with Houston. And then in 16, he was back in Denver for 6 games. And then he played Miami for 7 games.
Yeah, he
Never played with
he got traded there and got
on the
cut
ground.
immediately. Yeah, he got cut immediately. Didn't spend.
Something happened there that they must have ditched him quick because
It was just, I think somebody owed somebody a favor, and they said, "I need you to take his contract and cut him." I think that's as simple as what it was. That's what I don't even think it was a year later. Call. It was almost immediately. They just cut him. But anyway, we're getting off the subject.
Listen, I'm looking at it right here.
Oh.
He played 2015, 8 games with Denver. 2016, 15 games with Houston. 2017, he played 6 games back with Denver.
Yeah.
2018, 7 with Miami.
Yeah, he never played for Cleveland at all.
No, he never actually played with Cleveland, and he wasn't with Cleveland very long either.
No, I'm telling you,
that was the team he wasn't with long because he got shit right the fuck out there.
The problem, Jeff, beyond Rodgers and the bigger problem is the vaunted defense. Sauce Gardner is the most overrated player in the league. The guy can't tackle. He's getting beat up like you and I were playing corner out there. The whole defense has given up. And even guys who like Mosley is done. Quentin Williams, it's still a good player. He just hasn't played well. They've had some bright spots. I think was it Will McDonald's had a bunch of sacks this year, but as a whole, and to me, the Sauce Gardner's got to go. Put him back in the pot because he is completely fallen off. The
whole Jets defense is bad.
Yeah,
everything is bad. The whole entire Jets team is bad. Mm-hmm. This is a team. I'm telling you. I said it before. I'll say it again. They are cursed. Joe Namath did something to win the Super Bowl. Until Joe Namath no longer walks the earth, the Jets are going to be bad. I'm convinced of that. That's it.
Yeah, I think.
But by the way, he's live to be 1,000.
If
Frank Catalano,
I disagree. Frank. I disagree.
Talent. If they had talent, they'd be in a different position.
Frankie, if they have talent, I'm not going to disagree. But I think every team's got talent. The question, my problem for the Jets is they have no heart, and it's the same problem I have with the Giants. And I'll get to them in a minute when we switch over. But they have no heart whatsoever. They have given up, and you can't bring in some rookie coach now. I don't know where they go. There's been talk of
who the Jets.
Yeah.
First of all, you say that all the time.
You can't bring in a rookie coach.
You say that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you right now.
Yep.
Okay. They have no choice but to bring in a rookie coach because nobody else in their right mind is going to want to go there. What is the benefit of going to the Jets? You have a team that it wasn't even they quit before the halfway point.
But I agree with you. But that's why you can't go to some rookie coach. You got to go to guys.
Nobody's going to want.
No, I disagree with you. I disagree. Again, you're going to overpay. I would go. To me, I thought about it this week. John Gruden. Go find John Gruden, overpay him.
How old is John Gruden?
Yeah, I bet you John Gruden's barely 60. I bet you he's no more in his early 60s.
Yeah, is he going to want to be bothered with that?
And I'm not a John Gruden fan, but I think you got to now. The problem is I've heard a million people talk about bringing Rex in. That's the biggest joke in the world. Rex is a bad coach. Now he may work. I don't know.
Gruden is 61 years old.
Yeah, so I would bring in John Gruden. That's the kind of guy I think you need to bring in somebody with a little bit.
John Gruden has been successul in one spot.
But again, he's got some pelts on the wall at least. He's done it before.
He's been successful one spot.
But here's the problem. It's not about the players. It's you need to bring in somebody who knows what they're doing. You can't bring in another coach. Like Rob Saleh was the wise choice, and I'll tell you why. And not because he's a good coach, but he was the next big defensive assistant. His defenses were great. He was going to be a great coach, and he came in and proved he can't coach. So your Jets, if you're the Jets, you can't bring in another guy who you don't know if he could be a head coach. You need to bring in a guy who is a head coach, who's been that way. Otherwise,
Gruden is not going to want to go through that, get beat up.
But I'm not telling you you're right or wrong.
He's just going to turn around. He's going to say, no, I'd rather not fucking.
I'm not telling you you're right or wrong. I don't know what John Gruden is saying. All I'm saying is if you're the Jets, you cannot bring in the next assistant coach just because he'll say yes. You got to go find out. You got to go
You
find
ain't going
a
to
guy
get the next assistant coach that's going to say yes. You know what
No.
you're going to get? You're going to get the second or third wave of guys where there's only two left, and one of them is going
Maybe
back
right.
to coach high school football.
But then you'll be stuck in this thing forever. You
Well,
have
that's why they've been stuck in it forever, bro.
Well, but that's my point. You got to go out there and find the guy who's already been a head coach who knows how to run a team.
All right, so even if that's true,
It has to
I'm
be.
sorry, I don't believe that's going to happen.
Okay.
But let's just say it's going to happen. What are you paying John Gruden a year? $20 million?
Whatever. At this point, whatever it takes to fix the franchise, if you have to triple pay somebody who's a legit head coach to come in and change the culture and fix this, it's worth it.
Because you can't fix it.
But you can. It's just, and listen, every team is fixable. I mean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers
I
went from a
totally
team
disagree with that. I totally disagree with that.
Every team is fixable. You need the right person to fix it.
Because the Jets are just totally unfixable.
Well, again, I'm not disagreeing, but if you keep going with the same culture, if you keep if you keep bringing the next Adam Gase and Rob Saleh, and they aren't coaches and don't know how to do it, you're never going to fix it. So to me, again, I'm just saying you need to go out there and get the guy who at least is a legit coach.
We've said ourselves 1,000 times, the NFL is a copycat league, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So if the next person up is a special teams coach, and a special teams coach ends up taking a team to the Super Bowl and winning, you want to see how fast all the special teams coaches
of course
are going to be
high
demand, because one did it, so now another one is going to do it.
Jeff, there's no doubt about it. But
you know it.
But the problem is the Jets have tried that. They've tried that with
Woody Johnson doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Again,
Woody Johnson couldn't fall out of a boat and hit water, bro. Come on.
I'm with you. All I'm saying is you can't, if you're Woody Johnson, you can't go bring Ben Johnson from the Lions here because the Lions are having a great season. You don't know if Ben Johnson's going to be a great head coach. He might be. Maybe you get lucky. To me, the Jets can't afford the next Rex Ryan, Adam Gase, Rob Saleh, and the like. It just hasn't worked. You need to now.
Right, it hasn't worked, but that's where they're going to get. That's where they get.
Well, we'll see. I'm not saying.
And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just telling you the truth. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get who you think that. I understand your point, and I know what you're saying, but it's just not going to happen. Why would you want to come here, even for the money, and you're not getting any? Listen, when you were younger, right? I know it doesn't happen now because your two boys are men, okay? Mm-hmm. When your kids were younger and they used to act up and you wanted to maybe kill one of them, because I know that you had to wanted to kill them, okay? Didn't you ever turn around and you say, listen, I'm just like a broken record. I'm saying the same shit over and over and over, and yet they don't really give a fuck. They're just doing whatever the fuck they want to do, right?
I would say for the most part, no, but yeah, I got your point. Yeah.
But every kid has done it. Every kid has done it.
Mm-hmm.
And every parent has lived through it, and every parent has wanted to kill their fucking kids. And it's like the Jets. They just continuously make the same mistake. They do the same shit over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. They can't find a quarterback. Their offensive line has sucked for years. Every once in a while, it seems like every 30 years they get a decent offensive line, maybe every 30 years. They've been a pretty decent defensive team over the years, but, now they couldn't stop a nosebleed, and they're just a bad team. They are a bad team.
I agree, but if you're Woody Johnson, you have to bring in a professional head coach. Whether it happens or not, Jeff,
I don't even know a professional head coach if somebody introduced them to one.
Again, there's only a few out there right now. Mike Vrabel, John Gruden. You're not getting Belichick. Belichick's never coming to help the Jets. Never. I don't care who the owner of the team is. So there's a few guys. If you can prize somebody, let's see who gets fired. You don't like Mike McCarthy's going to get fired. You don't want Mike McCarthy. So, you got to hope.
Mike McCarthy, let me tell you, I'm a Jet fan. Mm-hmm. All right. Mike McCarthy could come here tomorrow if he wants, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
He would give you false hope.
Sure.
He would give you false hope by building his team up and getting this team to win a few games. And for a few seasons, you would be a competitive team. Maybe people would think you would make it in the playoffs. You get in the playoffs, never know what could happen. Okay. But Mike McCarthy, probably isn't going to come here. Probably going to take maybe a year off, I would think. No, after going through all of that with Dallas.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. There's no way in the world he's
his head.
Yeah,
But some of these guys, they may not want to fucking be a head coach again.
Yeah.
Or head coach next year. Or when the Jets offer them, they may tell, nah, no, thank you. And how many times have people and players used the Jets as leverage to get what they want from other people?
Oh, yeah, no, listen, there's no doubt about it. All I'm saying is going forward, if you're Woody, if you want to try to fix this, go get a real head coach. Don't bring in Peterson when he gets fired then from downtown, from Jacksonville. You know.
Oh God, I hope not.
Yeah, you got to go out there and find yourself a legit head coach. I don't know where you get it. I don't know if you get it one of these college coaches. You know, I wouldn't. To me, don't bring in Ben Johnson. I know Ben Johnson's going to be a head coach somewhere next year after the year that the Lions are having. But to me, the Jets can't afford another mistake. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. But they need a lot more help than just a quarterback issue or a coach. They need a whole new culture change. I miss Leon saying, "I want to win and win now." Yeah, that's Jags.
That's pretty catchy here in New York too. Here we go.
Yeah,
moment I've been waiting for years for. Now that Danny Boy,
yes, go ahead.
Now that Danny Boy is finally been relieved of pretending to be a quarterback, what happens now? What do you foresee happening with the Giants? What do you foresee happening with Daniel Jones? Is his career with the NFL done?
No, he's certainly not done. He will get a job. He will be on a team next year. I think he'll have an opportunity to win a job. He's shown enough of ability that somebody will give him a chance. Now, I don't think anybody's going to hand him a starting job. He'll be on somebody's team. Now, what team that is it Vegas? There's teams that need quarterbacks out there. So he will get a job someplace and give him the opportunity to win a job. Willie, that I can't say. What I've realized watching him play this year, and I don't know if it has anything to do with, his legs, his neck. He is very indecisive. He throws 2 minutes last minute. He is inaccurate to a fault. And I have no issue with the Giants benching him. He will not play another down for the Giants. They just brought in Tim Boyle to be the number 3 quarterback.
I know that's unbelievable.
So I think it's pretty close to saying at some point they'll tell him not to show up anymore. They cannot afford him to play, get hurt, and be on the books for $23 million, for more than the $23 million he's already going to be on for next year. So
yeah, I agree.
So I think Daniel Jones had a chance to be a good quarterback in New York with all the craziness, bad coaching changes, not enough good players. I think it was sabotaged, but he has not done himself any sort of favors the last 2 years as quarterback in the New York Giants. He had a chance to build on 2 years ago, and it didn't happen. So I have no problem. Going forward, I'm glad that they didn't play Drew Lock. I didn't want to see Drew Lock play. I'd rather see Tommy DeVito play, win or lose. I'd rather see Tommy DeVito play than Drew Lock. I know Drew Lock's not going to be here next year. Tommy DeVito has a half a chance. There's a chance
on a 1 year deal.
1 year deal, yeah. 1 year, $5 million. To me, there's an outside chance if Tommy DeVito plays well enough this year, well enough in these 7 games, that he could be at least on the roster competing with a rookie to start next year. There's an outside chance. He makes no money. He'll be in his 3rd year. He's not the long-term solution, but there's a chance that Tommy DeVito plays well enough to make himself the backup quarterback with a chance to start early next year before they draft a quarterback. And I think they'll draft a quarterback. I can't see them bringing in a retread, but anything's possible.
So you think that they're going to bench? You think that they're going to draft a quarterback next year?
Well, again, it all depends. Like right now, they're fighting for the top pick, but there's a whole bunch of teams with the same record or right there. So it's a big difference. There's not a lot of there's no great quarterbacks in this draft. Quinn Ewers is a decent quarterback. People love Shedeur Sanders. I don't want the baggage that comes with them. The kid from Miami is not a bad quarterback. There's a couple other guys, if they come out, there could be 4 or 5 good quarterbacks. I don't see anybody right now that I would go, that guy's a no miss. And I'm not an NFL scout, but there's a possibility there's only 2 or 3 quarterbacks in this draft that are worth anything. They could be gone very early. So I don't know. They may wind up with Tommy DeVito and whoever gets cut, Sam Darnold, Andy Dalton. It could be one Baker Mayfield. It could be one of those kind of years next year. And they may be drafted a quarterback 2 years from now. I don't know the answer. It depends on where they land and who's available.
Well, they're going to be up there. I know
that.
No.
Yeah, listen, the way it's looking now, I would think they'll be a top 2 or 3 draft team. So you should. But again, I don't see anybody that's coming out in next year's draft that you're going to say that guy can make or break a team. Now things happen. I didn't think Jaden Daniels was worth the shit, and he's played great this year. Will he do that? Brock Purdy wasn't even drafted, and the guys took his team to championship games. So anything's possible. But J.O. Jones is done with the Giants. He will not see another snap this year. And yes, I do believe he will definitely be on a team next year with a chance to at least compete for a starting job.
Do you think that coaching staff is going to be back?
It's up in the air for me. I think there's 2 scenarios. Well, there's 3 scenarios, but there's 2. If he loses the team, if they go out there and completely fall apart in the next 7 games, there's a real good chance he's not back. If they go out and they compete and they play hard, and they haven't done that to this point, Jeff. They have been terrible tackling. The guys have given up. Their number 1 pick from 2 years ago, Deonte Banks, is a horror show. He's not tackled. He doesn't try. He's admitted quitting on plays. I would have benched him or cut him at this point. There's some talent there. There's some guys who are playing hard, but it ain't enough for them. So Dable needs a good finish. You don't have to win games. You got to play hard and be in it. If they get blown out and they start quitting, there's a chance that can happen. I also see a scenario where those 2 guys are back, Dable and Shane, and they make a big play, and I think he'd eat it up. They go out there and get Bill Belichick to be president of football operations and bring Belichick in to change things. Not to draft, not to coach, but to change the atmosphere and fix how they do things. I think there's an outside chance that you could see that as a scenario. And then, of course, there's a chance they get rid of both guys and they bring in somebody new. I'm just tired as a Giant fan of seeing every 2 or 3 years getting new coaches. I think Dable's done enough for me to say he's a good coach. Not a great coach yet, but good. Shane's done a decent job, not a great job. But do I want to start all over again? I don't. I want to give them a chance to kind of fix this. But I think there's a chance you could see a Belichick, if he's not given a job someplace, I could see Mara saying, you know what, I'm bringing somebody in to oversee this. It's possible.
You think Belichick wants to take on a situation like that?
Yes, I think Belichick.
That he's, how old is Belichick? 72,
71, 72, yeah.
That's a tall order, man.
Well, I that's why I'm saying I don't think. First of all, I wouldn't want him to be the GM. His last 5 or 7 years in New England, he was horrendous picking players. He's a good coach. I don't want him to coach. If he was to come back as the coach, it would have to be with he has a guy on his staff that you think is going to be a good coach, and he's going to groom him for 2 or 3 years. To me, the better scenario is you bring him in to be head of football operations. He oversees everybody, and he puts his foot up everybody's ass and pushes things. And I think that's his dream job. If you ask me right now, what is his dream job is being back with the Giants. He loves Mara. He loves his time with the Giants. I don't think he wants to go anywhere else. I think he would be thrilled to have that job, to have a job with the New York Giants, to be honest with you. But I don't think he wants to go to the Cowboys. I think him and Jerry Jones is a terrible mix. I don't think Bill would be happy with Jerry leaning over his shoulder. I think it would be complete, total bullshit. I think the Cowboys are going to wind up with Deion Sanders. I got to be honest with you. I think that Dallas goes after Deion, and I'd be shocked if they didn't.
Oh, well, time will tell with that, man. But are you going to want everything that comes with him?
With who, Deion?
Yeah.
Oh no, me? No. If see, the problem with Jerry Jones is he wants the flash, so you're going to get all the publicity in the world with Deion coming. Could you imagine Deion Sanders? he goes there and they find a way to draft his kid, and his kid's the quarterback. Holy cow. I can't even imagine. I mean, now I don't know what you do with Dak and his $60 million a year you just gave him, but
I wouldn't even want to think about that for any team, man.
No. But no, I think Dion, I don't think Belichick wants to go to Jerry Jones. I would be shocked. And I don't think he's going to a place where he's like Jacksonville, where you kind of go to die. Like, who cares about the Jacksonville Jaguars? If you're Bill Belichick, who cares? So no, I think if you're Belichick, you're going to someplace, the Giants is one, maybe some West Coast team like maybe Vegas, someplace with a little notoriety, with a little bit of a tradition. I would be shocked. I mean, Miami, I could see like that. I don't think anybody wants to hire Bill Belichick as a coach anymore. I think it's more, hey, come in and run the operation. That's what I would think.
Well, time will tell, but not for nothing, the Cowboys aren't exactly teetering on the brink of winning anything at this point in time either.
Oh no, that's the problem there. And as a Giant fan, I'm happy they have this problem. Is Jerry Jones is their GM, and until he gives it up and brings in a real GM and steps aside and just plays co-owner, they'll never win, and that's fine with me. But he has to start to realize that he has not done the right job. I mean, this team is horrendous. It was put together wrong. Dak, he invested in Dak. I don't know why. I don't know why he gave Dak the money he did. The guy is never going to win a big game. He just doesn't win big games. So to me, but he's not going to. He's going to make a big splash, and whether it's trying to get Belichick, I think Vrabel's the right guy for him. I don't know if he wants Vrabel. I've heard other rumors. I think it's going to be Dion. I think he's going to make a big push to get Dion, and then Dion's either going to bring in his son or Hunt. He can't get both. There's no way he can get both. You have to make a big trade with somebody and give up the house to get that. So I don't know. And his son is not going to be a great quarterback. I just don't see it. I watched the kid play. He's got a lot of issues. And to me, why would you want all that baggage for those two morons? So, but yeah, listen, but as far as the Giants go, it's very disappointing. I got to be honest with you. And you know me long enough and you know how I think. I've watched every single Giant game. If I don't watch it, I've taped it. I'm talking about VCR tapes, DVRs. I don't miss Giant games. And I'm watching 2 weeks ago, the Carolina game. And at halftime, my wife's going, well, let me know when the game's over. We can go to the flea market. I'm like, flea market? All right, honey, yeah, no problem. And 2 minutes later, Daniel Jones throws the worst pick I've seen in a long time. And I went, hon, let's go now. And I left watching the second half of the Giant game to go to a Jewish flea market in Florida. That's how. And to be honest with you, if the Giants, if they had announced that Drew Lock was starting this game this week, I wouldn't turn it on. I wouldn't even watch it. I'll watch it because it's Tommy DeVito. He at least brings some life. I'll hope that there's some spark. And whether they win or lose, I don't care. I just want to watch inspired football. I'm just a Giant fan, and I will. But if you're throwing Drew Lock out there, well, who cares? I didn't want him signed to begin with, but I don't want to watch him play on a 2-8 team right now.
There's not many people that you're going to want to watch play on that team, man. And I give you credit if you're actually going to sit there and watch them. Because
I watch.
I can't watch the Jets at this point in time. I
do these things. I watch these games. I watch the Jet games when I can, and I DVR them, and then I'll kind of go through them, or I'll watch the highlights because we do the show, and I kind of got to keep up on different things. I watch what I can. Listen, if you want to watch real football, I got home from my trip Sunday night about 5:30, and I got to watch the second half of the Chiefs-Bills game. That was football. That's what football looks like. You have two competent teams battling back and forth. They don't always play great, but it's exciting. They make plays, and then all of a sudden, one quarterback decides game's on my shoulders and just puts his head down and runs over, 5 players to score a touchdown to win a big game. That was exciting football. I watched the end of the 49ers Seahawks game, and Geno Smith leads them down the field, beats the 49ers, scores on like a 20-yard run. It was exciting. And then I got to turn on my team, can't beat Carolina. who can't beat anybody. It's frustrating. That's all. It's just frustrating.
Very frustrating, man.
Yeah. So, but I think
very frustrating.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to this. Both New York teams have to do a real big introspective and decide what they're going to be. And, the Giants have to make a decision. Is Dable, if you're going to commit to Dable and Shane, you can't do it just for next year. So here's the problem. You can't allow Dable and Shane to draft your next quarterback or now you could say, hey, don't draft a quarterback, draft a can't miss guy. We'll see what happens next year. And then, make a decision on Dable and Shane next year. You could do it. But if you are going to allow them to draft a quarterback this year, for next year, to me, you got to give them a couple of years to do this, unless they fall apart, obviously. But, you have to figure you're going to suffer for another couple of years unless you're the Washington Redskins and all of a sudden you turned it around with a quarterback pick this year that nobody expected. So it's interesting. I don't know what the Giants do. My gut is that Dable and Shane are back. They draft a quarterback, and they try to resurrect this thing. And the Jets, I think Aaron Rodgers is on their roster next year. I don't know if he's a starting quarterback, but I believe Aaron Rodgers is back next year. He wants his money. They're not going to be able to get rid of it. They can't cut him. And I think they're going to suffer for another year. And the best you can hope for is that, to me, if I were the Jets, I would tell Aaron Rodgers, you could come back next year. We're going to pay you. You're going to sit on the bench, and you're going to back up, Joe Schmo, and hope that he gets so annoyed that he quits. That's the best you can hope for as a Jet fan.
The best thing that you do is you put him out there. Put him out there, regardless of who.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Who's on the team, regardless of who your offensive line is, regardless of anything, and you just put him out there and let him get fucking pounded.
Yeah, I think at this point, if you're the Jets, you're stuck with. The problem is, I don't think his teammates like him, and that's a huge problem. So,
it very well may be a problem. We don't know.
No, we don't.
All you know is this: is that he definitely didn't work out as planned, and it's not going to change now because now at this point in time, you got rid of the coach, you got rid of the GM. Your boy is no longer calling plays for you.
Yeah.
They just keep getting players you used to play with, but you're not getting the same results, man. It's over.
No, it is. And listen, I'm very down on the situation. I really rooted for Daniel Jones. I thought he could turn into a good quarterback. I never thought he was going to be great or elite, but I thought that he had something that he could at least be a serviceable NFL quarterback for 10 or 12 years. It didn't work out. So he's played his last game. I mean, if it wasn't clear, it was certainly clear when they brought in Tim Boyle to be the number 3 quarterback. The handwriting was off the wall at that point. They've decided he is never going to – I don't care how many people get hurt. I think, Jeff, you would get the call before Daniel Jones at this point to suit up and play quarterback for the Giants.
Well, I wonder what number I could get. Can I wear 66?
You might be able to wear 8 at this point. I'm not sure they couldn't give Daniel Jones' number at this point. So,
yeah, listen, I watched a clip of his interview, his spot,
Yes.
whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And he seemed pretty gracious about it.
Yeah.
And everything. And I got to be honest, man, it was I kind of feel bad for him. I mean, because I always thought that as much as I don't think he's a great quarterback or even a good quarterback, his chances were even less because of the team he had around him. And it started with the offensive line. And we talked about that for a long time. And there was no offensive line around this guy. He just never had the protection. He had receivers that, just couldn't catch the ball. And then he finally got Neighbors and, then he loses fucking Barkley. And it's just like, no matter who's over there, they just can't get it together. I just don't understand it, man.
No, you couldn't be more right, and I got you. And listen, it's an end of an era, and the Giants are going to have to regroup and come up with somebody else. And who knows? Maybe next year starting quarterback is starting this Sunday. Who knows? Nobody thought Brock Purdy was going to be the starter in San Francisco, and we'll see. But at the very least, we've watched the end of the Daniel Jones era with the New York Giants, and we'll see where Daniel winds up next year. And for me, I hope the guy goes someplace else, gets an opportunity, and has success because I think he deserves it. I think he's been a good soldier. He works his ass off. Everybody loves the guy. I think that he maybe a change of scenery it helps him. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm going to root for him no matter where he plays, and I hope he does the right thing.
I think that next year he gets released or whatever happens.
Oh yeah,
he signs a 2-year contract. He gets cut in training camp, and he manages a used car lot someplace in Texas.
Well, you may be right. You never at this point. You never know. So, but guys, Hard Rock Sports. That's Jeff and Tom. We're going to be wrapping up in a minute. Hey, you know what? We haven't talked about it at all. And the unofficial start to the holiday season has been a few weeks now. Have you been enjoying it? Are you decorating? Have you been listening to Christmas music? What have you been doing?
Well, Christmas music I'm not a big fan of, you know that, but I do listen to a little bit of it here and there. My wife was actually giving me shit because the other day I decided to take all the fucking fall stuff down and I was putting it away, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "It's Christmas time. This has got to go." So she was like, all right, whatever. But because I got the show on Sunday, I haven't been doing much, although I was given the go-ahead to let's get some lights up this weekend. Like, we're having somebody over Saturday night, so she wants the screen porch lit up. So I will start the job tomorrow.
Nice. Good for you.
Yeah.
We have not decorated at all. I've just been started to the last week or so listening to Christmas music. I've been looking up all the I'm actually watching. I found this article online about gangs, Staten Island gangs of the 80s. It's all about the Sickies, who, by the way, if anybody's listening, the Sickies were not tough guys. They maybe there was a group of them back before I hung out in South Beach, but my days in the South Beach, don't ever bring up the Sickies as the tough guys in South Beach. I see some of the people. There's actually people on here that I know.
Where you got this article?
I was invited to a one of those new groups. It's the Sheldon Boys Wanderers and something. I think it's a whole bunch of like guys I play football against. And somebody invited me into the group because my Panther team used to play football against these guys. And there's an article, it's an Advance article. I'll try to send it to you.
Send it to me through Messenger.
Yeah, it's New Springville Boys versus the Wanderers when gangs ruled Staten Island. It's Staten Island and all in New York City back in the 80s and early 90s. And I remember all of this, don't get me wrong, but I
remember hearing I never dealt with any of these assholes.
Yeah, I did. I
remember the New Springville Boys. There was always rumors that they were coming down and beating people up in the parking lots of the beaches and shit.
Yeah, don't say so. There's the Oakwood Boys. I don't remember the Heartland Village Boys. Heartland Village had a gang. The Fanning Boys, the Cavaliers, the Stallions, and the Outcasts. Now I remember the Outcasts. That's Frankie's crowd. Right, Frankie Catalano's crowd. How the Outcasts make it onto this? That was Frankie's crowd.
Well,
and no offense to Frankie's crowd, they weren't the toughest guys in the whole world. They were great guys. Don't get me wrong, but they weren't the toughest guys. I never considered the Outcasts a gang. I mean, there was a group of kids that hung out. They just called themselves the Outcasts. But that's interesting.
I stayed away from gang activity until I joined the Crips.
I did see there's a photo of the Sickies, a bunch of them actually, and there's a picture of Joe Lawson sitting in the middle of the crowd. I remember Joe from those days. And I think that's Richie Holmes.
Recently retired from sanitation corrections.
Yeah. I think that's Richie Holmes in this picture. This other guy I know, I don't know who he is though, but I recognize his face. I'll send you the article. You take a look at it. I see.
Yeah, send it over to me. Maybe I recognize some of them.
And so there's the South Beach, Robin Road, the overpass. I used to hang out there all the time. There's a couple of shots of the.
Did you see that they started tearing down?
Yes, St. Mary's. Yeah, Pete Bellatoni. Was it Pete Bellatoni put a picture of it up? Yeah, I saw that. What a shame. I mean, the whole neighborhood's just changed. Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Yeah, it's scary. But yeah, I'll find a way to send you this article. A lot of more fights about it. All right, but anyway, so yeah, just reminiscing about the gangs of Staten Island. I never thought of them as gangs, to be honest. I mean, I remember the groups. I just never thought of them as gangs. I mean, I don't know. Just funny that I guess Frankie's gone because he would have been all over me about the Outcast stuff.
Yeah, he's been gone for a while.
He must have bailed out. Anyway, what do you think will be the Super Bowl? Joe, I still think it's the Lions, and at this point, I change every week. It could be the Chiefs, Bills, either one. I don't know if there's anybody. I think the Lions, to me, are the best team in football right now. I just don't see anybody who's playing as well as them. I mean, I don't know if they're peaking too late, but boy, they got two great running backs. They could Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, Goff's playing good. Their defense is good. To me, that they're the most complete team in football right now, the Lions. Jeff, would you agree?
Yeah, I got a couple of them on my fantasy league, and I need fucking Montgomery to step it up a tad. And who else is it that I fucking need? That receiver, Williams or whatever the fuck his name, Williamson. He, every time you turn around, he's getting into something. This fucking guy ended up getting suspended for 2 games for banned substances and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's annoying, but I mean, I want to see this guy. I want to see my team. Listen, right now, I'm more concerned with my team than anything else. I'm expansion team.
Yeah.
And I'm taking it to the limit here, man.
I see that. Listen, you're right in the mix. You're right there. We'll see how you finish up in these next couple of games before the playoffs kick in. I think the playoffs are 3 weeks away, if I'm not mistaken. So
they're coming soon, man. They're coming soon.
Yep. So
I'm making a prediction, man. I'm taking the money. Taking the money. I'm taking the title, man.
All right. Well, listen, it would be quite the feather in your cap if you could put together a championship team in your first year ever running your own team. So good for you. We'll see how it wakes up. There are some couple of good teams.
But I'm going to say right now, no matter what happens, with this team this year, next year, I'm reaching out to somebody.
Okay.
And I'm bringing them back in the fold.
Look at this. We're making inroads. I like it. I like it. I like it. I've been bitten by what everybody will refer to as the commissioner's curse. I can't seem to put it together. I'm having better luck in my fantasy hockey league than I am in this one.
I seen one of your moves. I was going to text you about it, but then I was like, nah, I seen that you picked up Dalton Kincaid.
Yes.
I did not want to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Did not want to get rid of him. I took a chance on a player. Matter of fact, I had to get rid of somebody today because my kicker was off, and I did not realize that.
Oh, okay.
And I had to drop my this guy that I had in order to get a kicker.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about not using with a kicker, and I was like, nah, I got to take him. I got to do this. And I have 2 defenses. I've got 3 quarterbacks. I don't want to get rid of one of the quarterbacks because I'm afraid. Because fuck the rest of the people in this league. I don't want to give them anything. So I got Geno Smith starting this week over Tua.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay, but I'm not giving up Tua yet.
Okay. See, I would have cut Tua already. But go ahead. You're a good man.
But there's really nobody else to pick up.
No, I got you. I agree with you. So it's just a matter of filling a spot.
I mean, right now my third stringer is Tua. Think of it that way. You know what I mean? So I got Josh Allen, Geno Smith.
Okay.
And then if something happens to both of them, then I still have Tua to fall back to.
Listen, these strategies work so far. Like I said, I just cut Daniel Jones. I cut Daniel Jones, and like 3 minutes later, my stepdaughter texts me and goes, "I just saw you cut Daniel Jones. You've given up." I said,
but he's never playing again.
Yeah, I said, what am I keeping him for? I just cut. I had no quarterback this week. Joe Burrow's been on fire the last 3 or 4 weeks, but he's on a bye.
Him and fucking Jamar Chase, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So, Joe Burrow's been getting me 47, 50 points. So,
I know.
but he's out. So my backup was Daniel Jones. He's not playing. So I wound up drafting Drake May. That was like the Tommy DeVito. So I went with Drake May.
I hate to say it, could have made a call.
Yeah, I am always anti making trades in these leagues because it never works out. These are trades that it's not like the pros where you go, oh yeah, well, I got some draft picks and I got there's nobody on anybody's roster that's making that big a deal on my thing. I just said, I'm gonna stick what I got.
You could have taken a chance for 1 week where you could have given up an inferior player that gives me a little leeway, a little room, so I don't feel bad. I give up Dalton Kincaid, and then I try to snatch him back, right? And they're like, nope, can't do it. So then, fuck. I says, all right, I'll keep an eye on him. And then all of a sudden I see Hard Rocket Sports has picked up Daniel Dalton Kincaid or whatever.
Yeah.
Fucker.
Well, up until that point, my tight end, I have Andrews from Baltimore. He's been terrible. Then all of a sudden he woke up. It's like he woke up out of a coma, and he started getting points. But I was like, I didn't have another real backup. I was actually, I said I'll pick him up, and if it gets down to, to the point where, I'm actually in the hunt, I can, maybe use him right, as my utility player, my flex. He's supposed to be coming off injured reserve. I almost cut him today. I was this close to cutting him.
Kincaid?
Yeah, I was this close, and then I'm
going to give you a little. If you can find somebody else, let him loose.
Yeah, no, I went looking today. I wound up picking up I cut Jones. I cut Devin Singletary. I cut one of the guys I picked up for the Cowboys that I needed 1 week. I cut like 3 or 4 players. I had plenty of room, and there was just nobody available. I mean,
there is nobody available, man. No. I look almost every day. I look at that.
Me too.
Like, there's nobody.
Yeah, so nobody. I just picked up whatever was best at that point. But
although I did pick up a dark horse player.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the Jets. I got to get his name. And I was like, does he have a chance? And yeah, he does. Sherwood from the Jets.
Okay.
He was quietly, he's one of the league leaders in tackles, with like 103 tackles. And I played him last week, and he only had 6 tackles, but the week before that, he was getting into double digits. I got TJ Watt. He hasn't done shit.
Yeah.
All year. And I'm like, I can't get rid of him. Can't get rid of him. Because if I get rid of him, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I know. Then he'll start for somebody else, and that'll be the end of it. Yeah, I'm just lucky that I've gotten a lot of production out of my running backs. I picked up the kid from the Giants, Tyrone Tracy. He's had a great year, and then I have Jamar Gibbs, who's been phenomenal.
Jamar Gibbs is got to be one of the more solid fucking picks.
Yeah,
I've seen, man. Wow, right now I'm looking at him 5th in the league, 796 fucking yards. Let me just see something. Last year he had 945 yards in 15 games. He's got 796 yards in 10 games. He had 10 touchdowns last year. He's got 8 so far. There's no reason to believe he ain't gonna top what he did last year, man. He's a good player.
Yeah,
I like him a lot, man.
Between those 2 guys and Joe Burrow, who really started out slow, but has the last 4 or 5 weeks has just been great. That they carried me to a few wins, but not too enough. So we'll see what happens. I am at this point should win this week according to the the matchup, but we'll see. And if I need to win out, and I need a bunch of you guys to lose up there, but we'll see what happens.
I played your stepdaughter last week.
Okay.
And I was supposed to beat her, right? And then she was coming back, and then next thing I know, she has, she had a receiver from Texas, from Houston, and their running back Joe Mixon, and he got a bunch of points, but he wasn't doing anything. It was quiet. And then all of a sudden she got within 4 or 5 points of me. And I'm like, oh my God, I got the Houston defense though. Playing last week. So I'm like, wow, please do something. I go to bed. I just shut the game off. I was like, I'm going to lose. I wake up in the morning and look, and the Houston defense ended up getting like 30 points or whatever. Like they just went off in the second half, and Joe Mixon didn't do anything. And what is it, Tank Collins or something like that? Is that receiver from
Yes.
Houston?
Yep.
Yeah, he was having a good game, and then they kind of quieted down in the second half, thank God, and the Houston defense took over. And I was lucky, man. I squeaked one out, but there's a couple people I want to fucking get. I'm not going to forget. I got to get them.
By the way, I just put that article in the football.
Yes.
Okay, read that when you get a chance. I put up there for Frankie and Matt. He'll get a kick out of that one too.
Okay.
All right, listen, guys, it's getting late. We're going to end this thing right here, but we'll be back. We'll talk. Maybe we'll do Wednesday night or something. We'll see what your schedule is. I know you got the band things working on. I saw you got a new. Are you guys playing this weekend?
This Sunday, yeah. This Sunday at the Rock House, yeah.
Nice. Is it a benefit or something? Did I see?
Yeah. Yeah, we
Nice.
go on at like 5:15.
Nice. All right, so you're getting some gigs. I mean, anything? I haven't seen much for the Remorons. Anything happening?
Supposedly December 28th, we're supposed to play, but the last couple shows that we were supposed to play, last minute something stupid happened and we ended up backing out. So we're just looking to get past this date now with middle-aged delinquents, and then we're gonna start to get the Remorons back in and get them going again, so we get ready for the 28th.
Now, isn't Collins moving soon? Like, is he still moving?
Dude, I have no idea what happened to him.
All right.
I have no idea.
He told me in January he was moving away, so I don't know.
Yeah, I know. He says he's moving and he's still here. I'm not going to be bothered with this no more, but meanwhile, he's there.
Yeah.
Can't play this no more, but there he is playing. I don't know. I don't know what it is. The guy, great guy. I love him. But he's just John Collins. Perfect name.
Don't forget the 30th. We'll be getting the big jam together. We
29th or the 30th?
30th. It's Monday the 30th.
Monday the 30th?
Yes.
All right.
Monday the 30th, 6 o'clock. We're going to go to dinner before that, I hope. And that's the day everybody picked. So hopefully everybody's still in. I will put a reminder out there in the next few weeks, but there's enough chatter on the thing that I think everybody's pretty solid.
We still waiting to hear on Ronnie or no?
Ronnie is going to be a last minute. Yeah, it's going to be one of those things where he's got enough done in his work life that he can make it. He's weird. Last year he told me weeknights are better than the weekends. It's hard for me to go. And then this year when I said to him, he goes like, "Oh, weekends are better if you could." I was like, "I'm not changing. I got everybody. I got 9 other guys that are locked in for that Monday night. I'm not changing it. I'm not going through this again." So
we might have Pete Bagley.
Okay.
We got John. We got Chris.
Yep. Jimmy Fall. Father Bob. Yep. Father Bob. And sounds like maybe your brother and your nephew might be showing up.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. See what that's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. But listen, if you're in Rosebank for that time, hopefully John will get us downstairs. I'm trying to come up with some novelty things like I did last year. I'm just meet at the pizzeria. That's what we gotta do. That's it. We'll do as early as everybody can. We'll go out, have some pizza, and then we'll go down to the studio and do a little jamming for a few hours. And then
I already got a bottle that has the itches. Can't wait to get out of the house. There's a
small chance I'll be going straight to the airport after that. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. But
are you serious?
Yeah, there's a small chance. I don't know yet. We haven't gotten that far yet. But if we weren't having the jam that night, I would probably be in Florida that weekend for the week. I'm looking to spend New Year's in Florida, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. We'll see. If not, either way, I will. But I told my wife I'm not missing the jam, so I will be there.
Well, that's good. I'm happy about that.
So. Yeah, so we'll be doing that. And again, if you're at near the Rock House this Sunday at 5 o'clock, and I'm sure it starts much earlier, but go see Jeff's band.
5:15. Yeah, we're gonna. If we don't kill one another before the show.
Yes. Listen, you never know with bands nowadays, but while they're still not killing each other, go out and check out Jeff's band and have some fun and support the cause. And in the meantime, listen, come on back next Sunday. Next week. I'll let everybody know we're going to do something. I'd hate to miss another week. So we'll try to fit something in at some point next week. I don't know what. Maybe we'll do Friday or Wednesday. If we can't, then we'll just be back the following Thursday. But in the meantime, if we don't see you guys, please have a great Thanksgiving. Be safe, be careful, enjoy. Jeff, you still got the March of the Wooden Soldiers tradition on Thanksgiving? Is that still a thing?
Somebody asked me that earlier, and yeah, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I hope to. It's on. It should be on twice. Usually they do the black and white in the morning and then the color in the afternoon.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they 1 and 1, and I have them taped, so I should still have them taped. And listen, the only thing I don't watch is the parade.
I don't watch the parade. Never watch.
What's that?
I never watched the parade.
I don't like watching it. I like watching the dog show to see if there's any Boston Terriers on there.
Okay. No, I don't watch any of that. The only thing I miss is the old days used to be
King Kong.
Mighty Joe Young.
Mighty Joe Young, King Kong, Son of Kong.
Yep. Those were my favorites. You watch some football, and then toward the end of the day, Mighty Joe Young was on, and you kind of gravitated to the channel, and you watch you watch Joe nearly die.
Now listen, here's the next question I got for you.
Sure.
I know you want to go, but real quick, did you get your turkey yet?
My mother does that stuff. So yes, my mom's got her turkeys and all that stuff. Yes.
How turkeys?
Well, sometimes it depends how big she got. I think this year's only one. I think it's 28 pounds.
Wow.
25.
That's ostrich, man.
We have a lot of people, so it's.
We bought 3.
Yeah, 3 turkeys.
3 turkeys from the Price Club. We got a 20 or 21 pounder for Thanksgiving, which looks like it's just going to be me and my wife. Then we have 2 smaller ones. One's a 15, one's a 10 or 11 pounder. One is going to be for later on in the winter. We've been doing that the last couple of years. We'll get 2. And then we bought the 3rd one in case there's a snowstorm and we're stuck in the house and we know about it ahead of time. This here way we take it out. We have a turkey dinner. So
interesting.
Yeah, listen, the house is small. It'll be nice to heat up a turkey and the whole house will smell. You know what I mean?
Joe, happy Thanksgiving to you, Joe. Same to you. Yeah. I'm not
stuff, you fucking wacko.
I'm not a huge turkey fan, to be honest. I'll eat it on Thanksgiving. It's hit or miss. Most of the time my mom cooks a good turkey, but it's a little hit or miss. I enjoy all the other stuff around it. My mom makes, she goes crazy. It's all sorts of breaded artichokes, cauliflower, and then she does, soup or stuffings and mashed potatoes. I enjoy all that stuff. I'm not a huge turkey fan, so it's once a year for us around here. So, but to each their own. If you like turkey, that's a good thing. But my mom makes a big one. It's about as big as it gets.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it because, like you said, it's everything else that goes with it. And then I like to have the turkey sandwiches. And not only that, but with the 10-pound turkey or 11-pound or whatever it is, it does not matter, because there ain't going to be much of that one left when we're done with it anyway.
Right.
The dog will end up getting most of the dog meat anyhow. We just really eat the white meat and that's it for the most part. And I don't mind it. It's something. Because if we make one now in November, we might not make it again till January, and then who knows?
Sure.
And if my wife likes doing it, keeps her happy. So okay.
Well, listen, whatever makes the wife happy, and if you enjoy it, great, good for you. And it's a lot of fun. But the holidays are officially here. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Talking about some wintry weather. I know that driving home it said winter weather conditions tonight. I don't know exactly what it meant, but. Be safe if you're out there driving around, and please be safe during the holiday week. I heard it's going to be a very bad travel. They're saying if you don't get out of town soon, don't bother, and if you do get out of town, get back early or come back late.
It's going to suck.
Yeah. So, but there's a lot of great stuff to watch. There's terrible football games on this week. The Giants and the Cowboys is nobody's great game Thursday afternoon, the Lions and the Bears, traditional maybe. I don't know who the night game is. I didn't look it up, but listen, I'm off for 4 days, so I'm a happy camper, and I'll look forward to trying to get a show in. If not, got a lot of guitar practicing to do. I'm learning a bunch of new tunes for the gig and all that good shit. So I'll keep myself busy, but in the meantime, we're going to wrap this up so we can move on for our night. But I'm glad you worked out your computer problems and we're able to get on.
Me too.
And a good show. This is exactly the Hard Rock and Sports Show. But again, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Joe and Frank and Pete and everybody else who chimed in tonight. We really do appreciate it. And we'll try it again next week, hopefully. If not, either way, thank you all for tuning in tonight. So, again, thank you for everything, guys. We hope you have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week, and a great weekend. And a great next week. And we hope you come back when we do our next show. In the meantime, for Jeff Towinski and myself and everybody here at Hard Rock and Sports, we say thanks for tuning in, and please be safe during the holiday season. Hefe, I'll definitely talk to you off the air.
All right, man. You got it, bro.
Have a good night.
Later.